Oh, wow.
Lonzo hath arisen and chosen violence this glorious AM. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show is live on a Monday. The first full week that we have had to work in like a while, dude. In like a while.
There's a good thing about it though. Wall-to-wall football starting Thursday. Major football playoffs in both sports.
Yay!
So we got that. That also means that soon that'll be over.
Boo! That's less exciting than the first thing you said. I prefer to lean on the first thing you said. If we're
we got another month? We're good. Maybe a month and a half.
I prefer not to think about that. I got sad about that over the weekend, to be honest. I woke up on Saturday morning and I had my my traditional Saturday. I get up, start getting ready for Bet for the Cycle. Every Saturday from noon to 4 on the BetQL Network. Nothing like starting off a show by hyping the other show that I'm on. Started prepping for that show. And by prepping for that show, I mean laying in bed in my boxers until the last possible minute to get up and get going. And about 10:45, the wife was up. She was doing her thing. About 10:45.
Wait, you're still in the bed at 10:45?
Oh, on Saturdays? Hell yeah. Listen, as early as we have to get up each and every day from Monday through Friday to be here, I'm in this building around 4:45 in the a.m. As early as I've got to get up to be here by 4:45, when I don't have to get out of the bed, I stay until the last possible minute.
What time do you go to bed, though?
On Friday nights? Question mark.
Exactly. So you're probably getting
TBD.
So you're probably getting less sleep.
No, I definitely am not.
You're sleeping late.
No, because even so here's the thing.
So I get up at around 8, and that's like 4 hours after what I normally get up. That's sleeping in to me.
I usually on Fridays, and it depends. It's obviously case by case. There are nights that, the boys fire up a little EA Sports NHL 2025 and burn up the ice a little bit, or perhaps we decide to throw on, as the adults that we are, a little bit of Rocket League because, simple games allow you to just sit there and talk bleep to your friends, whatever we're doing. If that, or like once in a blue moon, the wife will come out and be like, take me out, bet, let's go. But like most Friday nights, I'm usually crashed out by like 2. And then I'll get up at, 11 the next morning. So I got up on Saturday, started prepping for Bet for the Cycle, look at the rundown Double D sends over and start putting my answers together to his questions and all that good stuff. And on Saturday morning, as I was prepping for the show, about 11:30, I reached over and I grabbed the TV remote and I pointed it at the TV in the bedroom. And I said, let's turn on Game Day. And then I went, sad.
There was probably like a college basketball game day on.
I watched a lot of college basketball this weekend. I watched Florida, Kentucky. About 1,000 points scored in that one. That was good.
So you
watched a little Kansas last night. That seems okay.
Is going to be like the NBA and score like in the 130s?
No. Okay. Florida and Kentucky are both really good. That was Florida's first loss, by the way. And it took Kentucky like 109 points to put it on them. That's a good team, Florida.
That's a lot for a college game.
It is. It is. The over-under in that game was like 180-something. It was like 180-something, which is remarkably high for a college game. And they went over it by like 20-some-odd points. It was a no-sweat bet if you're into that sort of thing. It was good. It was good. Watched a little Kansas yesterday. Penn State got upset yesterday. That's a big upset out in the BIG 1-0. So, yeah, a lot of college basketball. And this is a wonderful time of the year for one Rob Brown, because I can begin to turn my limited attention over towards college basketball without missing out on the footballs. I would, like during the early portion, the holiday tournaments and all that, it's kind of tough to make enough space for college basketball because there's so much football on. And at the end of the day, until you get to like week 17 of the NFL, until you get to like week 14, 15 of college football, every game's important. Every game matters. Even if the team not playing in it is important or their result isn't important, even if that's the case, you know, you have tiebreaker scenarios that came into play. You have strength of schedule rankings that could have an impact on what happens to Hoopst after the season comes to its conclusion. Every game matters. And Daddy ain't dumb. I am aware that whether we like it or not, and sometimes I don't, if we're keeping it a buck betwixt each other, even if I don't like it, at the end of the day, this is obviously football country. So I have to pay attention to everything in the landscape of college football and the NFL, which means that early in the season, I don't really have the mental space to really start deep diving college basketball when there's 300 some odd teams that are playing. It makes it a little tough. Now we've kind of hit the point of the season. We got 6 NFL games coming up this weekend? Now, all of them matter. Got to be plugged into all of them. But we got 6 NFL games. We have 3 college football games left. 2 semis and a natty that we got to get through. But there's only 3 left. Now I can start working some hardball into the rotation. And for me...
You said hardball, not hardball.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, we do have to work some hardball into the conversation because the Chargers are going dancing. And I think that's impressive.
He's not the only hardball. Yeah, that's
both hardballs. That's right. Jimmy and Johnny are both going dancing. 2 hardballs to talk about. But no, some hardwood is what I should have said. Some basketball, some round ball, some John Tesh ball coming up on the show. So we're going to start getting that in here. John Blau of the Post and Courier coming up at 8:40 this morning. We'll talk to him about a little Clemson basketball. We'll talk about Clemson football, too, because it is now official that Wes Goodwin will not be returning to his post. He is not necessarily fired nor departing Clemson yet. He has just been informed.
Moving up to a place in the administration or one of those things.
Moving on up to the AD's office. No, it doesn't. We don't know what he's going to be doing. It's just been said that he has been informed that he will not be returning in the capacity of defensive coordinator. So my understanding is they have not canned him, but they just told him he's not going to be the DC next year, which I have to assume means that they are likely setting him up. Hey, man, if you want to go back to being a defensive analyst or you want to go back to being a position coach or whatever, like I think that's Dabo's way of moving on from a Dabo guy, but not firing him, right? Like it's that old, I'm not firing you. If you leave, it's your choice. You're just not doing that job anymore. Which again, I get. Like I appreciate him giving the out because if we're being honest, short of moving down a couple of levels, Wes Goodwin doesn't likely have a lot of options at the D1 level. All right, Clemson's defense was bad this year. It was bad last year. It's really been it. It was okay his first year, but that was likely the Brent Venables hang-ons. 2 years later, got worse. 3 years later, got progressively worse during his entire tenure. It was getting worse by the year. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of D1 Power 5 programs lined up to hire Wes Goodwin. I think this is effectively a way for Dabo to say, you can keep coaching if you would like to. You're just not going to be the dude wearing the headset when they have the football. Which I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So we'll talk about that with John Blau coming up at 8:40 this morning. We have got obviously a lot of NFL. What a barn burner we had last night between the Vikings and the Lions, right? Guys, I'm going to tell you, I had a pretty good year as far as my going into the season predictions and projections and prognostications. Got Jaden Daniels right. Got Josh Allen as the MVP right. got a lot right. I got some stuff wrong too. And I do believe, as I've said many, many times, to me, and very few other hosts, it seems like, to me, accountability matters in this industry. Late last night, I was on Twitter because I doom scroll regularly. It's my favorite thing is to go look at the world and how it's on fire.
Okay, all right. I needed to explain doom scroll. To
yeah,
people
doom
who
scroll is
don't.
when
Yeah.
you pop on social media and you just scroll down, watching the world burn through your phone screen. That's all it is. So I was doom scrolling last night and enjoying a little football.
Would that be what I'm doing now as I'm looking at all the allegations of Skip Bayless,
Yes.
and Joy Taylor, and
Yes.
all that kind of? No, it's sports.
That's exactly what you're
It's
doing.
sports in a way.
It's sports adjacent. It's our favorite terminology. It's sports adjacent. So yesterday, I got randomly hit with a notification on Twitter. And that notification on Twitter was that somebody posted like a laughing face emoji on a video of a show that I hosted on BetMGM about week 3 or 4 of the regular season.
Wait. So someone put a laughing emoji and you get alerted to it?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah, I have all my notifications on.
And you immediately went, okay, who did this?
No,
Okay, all right.
no, not who
All right.
did this. It was what did they just like? Because the
You are
tweet,
wearing the dark sunglasses and everything. And it's
this tweet was from You Better You Bet, which is a show on the BetQL network. It airs middays, and they call me to
the guy
fill
with
in.
the real deep.
This is Nick Costos.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Nick's a dog, by the way. He's a dude. I love Nick. He's Nick's that guy.
How would you describe gravelly? I guess
Gravelly's good.
Gravelly. Yeah.
Nick's a dude that on the air, you're like, oh man, this guy kind of sucks. This guy's kind of a hole a little bit. But then you talk to him off the air and you're like, this dude's a teddy bear. He's like Lonzo, big intimidating presence on the air, absolutely teddy bear, and wants to hug everybody off it. Like it's the same vibe. So back on August 21st of last year, I got the call from the bullpen to step in and host the Tom Gully Show. Just checked in on Twitter and said, 80s cover band, I'm out. Well, I'm sorry, Tom Gully Show, that you don't like artistry and great music. That's a you problem, not a me problem, bud. Feel free to hang out. You're welcome to the stream.
Is he
But that's
talking
a you
about
problem.
our look, or does he know that you're in the 80s cover band?
I don't care. It's your loss either way, pal. You're lost. You are missing out on a knower of ball because he happens to like Bret Michaels and Poison. That's a you problem.
Could have
The
just been
Tom Gully
cracking
Show.
on my hair. I mean,
That's also true.
That could be what it is.
So August 21st, 2004, I was hosting a show called You Better You Bet, along with a gentleman by the name of Jeremy Kahn. Jeremy Kahn is a syndicated host. He has moved up to the Infinity Sportsnet now. Good dude. And we were having a conversation that sounded like this. No, well, I mean, I could hear it. Let me get that fixed up. Here we go. Jeremy Kahn and I were having a conversation that sounded like this.
But this Denver Broncos team, man, I can't do it. I feel the same way you do about Bo Nix. I'm not buying into the guy. I believe they play Seattle week 1, so I'm interested to see what a Mike McDonald defense does to a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. But yeah, that roster is wanting. There's a lot of problems there. They've got a lot of dead money on their cap. And I think they have a coach that knows he's going to be there next year. And this isn't me telling you they're going to lose on purpose, but they did trade away a lot of good players and move some guys out because of picks and then kind of fill some gaps with free agents that worked for them. I just don't see it. So I would go under that 5.5 and I'd take that plus money.
Sean Payton's offense wasn't really super crazy, innovative or out of the box or anything, Jeremy Kahn. He just had the most accurate thrower of the football in history playing quarterback in Drew Brees. It didn't have to be all that crazy or wild. You just needed to give a guy a half of an inch of a window and Drew Brees was going to get him the ball. He's never really been. I know that the rep is always innovative and listen, he was brave. All right. He was ballsy for sure. He was willing to try to make things work. It wasn't innovative. Bo Nix ain't Drew Brees, right? Like this isn't the 09 New Orleans Saints. Jeremy Kahn, they're all resting this on Sean Payton being Sean Payton from 2009. And I think people are going to learn very quickly, he ain't, bud. He ain't. So anyway, the Denver Broncos are in the playoffs.
Was that a 16-year-old Rob Brown?
So anyway, Sean Payton and Bo Nix are in the playoffs. Whoops. Hey, accountability. I want you to know, not only did I go back and own that, I self-reported to Old Takes Exposed. I self-reported myself to Freezing Cold Takes because I got hammered on that.
That's not how that works, man. Because if they notice you, then you're somebody. If they so you're just trying to get
no.
mean,
This is not a work. This is 100% because you've heard me say 1,000 times. Accountability matters, and I blew this one.
So you're making.
I got Josh Allen right. I got Jaden Daniels right. I got the Jets
don't
right.
Just automatically find those that people self-report all.
Oh,
the
people
time.
self-report all the time.
Wow.
Like some of the I think Mel Kiper Jr. has self-reported before. It's like it's become a thing in the industry to self-report. If you don't know what we're talking about, if you're not chronically online like the rest of us nerds, on Twitter, there is an account entitled Freezing Cold Takes. Their handle is at Old Takes Exposed. And effectively what they do is they go around the internet and they find when sports talking heads say dumb things. Like when Adam Koffler tweeted out back on, April 27th of 2023, Jahmyr Gibbs is the stone cold worst pick. The Lions could have made it 12, but whatever, Dan Cable. Anyway, Jahmyr Gibbs had 4 touchdowns last night.
A former host on these stations lives there, so.
Or when Pro Football Network asked on August 14th of last year, 7 days before I went after Peyton and Bo Nix there, who wins the race for the number 1 pick? And their number 1 belief was the Denver Broncos. So I wasn't alone in that. Or when they got Albert Breer. When Adam Schefter on January 12th of last year, almost a year ago, reported that Gerard Mayo is their next head coach, and Albert Breer responded simply, the right move. Or when James Marilat said in 2025, Sean Payton is going to be on the Fox set while some sucker is stuck with Bo Nix and Russell Wilson dead cap. Wow, what a terrible decision. Again, Bo Nix and Sean Payton and the Broncos are in the playoffs. The point here is I have always believed in accountability, and now somebody else is holding people to it. I find it only appropriate that I keep myself accountable, and I apologize to Sean Payton and Bo Nix. That's my bad. Congrats on making it in by beating the Chiefs, and I assume 7 to 12 guys that they just pulled out of the stands that happen to have player jerseys on, because it was a whooping. But of course it was a whooping. It was Carson Wentz and the Chiefs practice squad, basically. All right. NFL playoff bracket is set. We know our wild card round schedule for the weekend, but when we come back, I said something yesterday to a group of the fellas that I said proves to me that rivalries are dead in the NFL. And if they're not, then I've never been more disappointed in my own football team. I'll tell you what I mean by that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right. 30 seconds. There's a large group of people in America who like bourbon. Almost all of America likes bacon. Let's put those two things together, shall we? At the 2024/25 Bourbon and Bacon Fest, we had to reschedule. That just gave us more time to make it bigger and better than ever before. It is January 17th at the Foundry at Judson Mill. You are going to be able to sample craft bourbons from around the country. You are going to be able to yeah, that Fox story is wild, isn't it?
Yes, it is. If true, so surprising that Skip Bayless is not a good dude. Doesn't really sound fired up. I'm just saying, because I've heard him fired up, seen him fired up before. I love the obviously the Chiefs were afraid of the Bengals, so they
That's so dumb.
The Broncos win. It's like,
I called a guy out on Twitter about
did,
that.
Did you notice
Twitter
that?
really will let you just say anything.
Did you notice that Patrick Mahomes' ankle is hurt? And
even if it wasn't, who cares?
Yeah, they don't need it. They already got the number
Why would
one
I
seed.
not take effectively a 2-week bye?
Since I clicked on that story, now a bunch of old stuff is
Yeah.
going up. It's
Yeah.
like, okay.
The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Welcome back. Rob Brown, the Great Malonzo with you. Monday here on the broadcast. I had said for a very long time that NFL rivalries were fine. They were alive. I got Steelers, Ravens. I got Chiefs, Raiders. I got Saints, Falcons. I've said for a very long time that I thought NFL rivalries were fine. And now I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that's the case. And here's why. Yesterday, the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers played. Buccaneers win, they win the NFC South. Buccaneers lose, and the Falcons beat the Panthers. The Falcons win the South. So that game mattered. At least at the time, that game mattered. Actually, I mean, it still would have mattered had the Falcons beat the Panthers, but they didn't because Bryce Young became the youngest quarterback in NFL history to throw for 3 and run for a pair of touchdowns. My goodness, I thought he was short. But we'll circle back around to that. Tampa Bay and New Orleans play a game that Tampa doesn't pull away from the Saints until the last handful of minutes. In fact, Spencer Rattler and the Saints led for a majority of that game. But Tampa Bay late in the game, they get a couple of spots. They're finally able to get to Rattler and rattle him. They created a couple of spots. They take the lead. They hang on to the lead. Tampa Bay's clearly going to win this game. You get to the final possession. It's 4th down. New Orleans cannot score. Tampa gets the ball back. All they've got to do is take a knee and win the game. But wide receiver Mike Evans, who has been, and I mean this, as both a compliment and a note of my absolute frustration, a pain in the ass to the New Orleans Saints for 11 consecutive seasons now, he has been an issue. In fact, if you've paid attention to this NFC South rivalry, you know that Mike Evans and various members of the New Orleans Saints, up until he was traded to the Washington Commanders this year, Marshawn Lattimore, the former Ohio State Buckeye, was one of them, have gotten into multiple legitimate fist fights. Multiple legitimate fist fights. So Mike has been like the definition of a pain in the ass to the New Orleans Saints for 11 years. Well, yesterday, when Tampa got the ball back with less than a minute left to play, he was 5 yards away from 1,000 yards, which meant two things. Number one, he would put together the second most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He is 3 behind only Jerry Rice. And number two, Mike Evans had a $3 million bonus on the line if he got to 1,000 yards. Now, here's what I want to get to. Rivalries are dead in the NFL to me. And there's two reasons why. And they both center around my team. But that's what I want to talk about, so deal with it. Last year, at the end of the year, you all will remember when the Saints beat the Atlanta Falcons in their crib. At the end of the game, the Saints took over on downs inside of the Falcons' red zone, and Dennis Allen, the coach at the time, told Jameis Winston and the crew to take a knee. But the offense went out there, and they called their own play to give Jamal Williams, the backup running back, who was a player and fan favorite, his only rushing touchdown on the year. They're like, let's get this cat in the end zone. So they ran it right off guard, right down Atlanta's throat, and let Jamal score a touchdown. And Dennis Allen came out after the game was over, when there was a conversation about the concept of running up the score. Dennis Allen came out and apologized to the Atlanta Falcons. That was, and this isn't a joke, this isn't hyperbole, this isn't me being funny. Lonzo, that was the moment I want his ass fired. Right there. No. Do not apologize to my rival for sticking it in the end zone again. If you don't want us to score a touchdown, maybe get the ball out of the red zone. Maybe get it away from the end zone and don't turn it over 4 yards away from pay dirt. Maybe get it, maybe play. But they didn't. They gave us the ball. We scored a touchdown with time on the clock. Bleep them. That's the rival. Dennis Allen came out and apologized. And this is not a joke, that was the second that I was ready to fire Dennis Allen. I was already in that direction, but that was the moment I went, no, this guy's weak. I don't want this guy there anymore. And then this. Tell me, Zoe, if this is going too far as a rival. If I'm New Orleans, I know Mike Evans is 5 yards away from 1,000-yard season, a $3 million paycheck, and putting together the second longest streak of 1,000-yard seasons in NFL history behind only the legendary Jerry Rice. The minute that Tampa comes up to the ball with a 5-wide spread, clearly intending to throw the ball, we know where we're going, right? We're going right to Mike. So what do the Saints do? They line up in a pillow coverage, playing back off the ball, let Baker zip it right over to Mike Williams, Mike Evans, pardon me, who then picks up 7 yards, crosses the 1,000-yard mark, gets his money in the record. Well, not the record, but you know what I mean. Lonzo, if I'm Darren Rizzi, who now is just Coach I because he's got no Riz after that. Riz is what the young people call like aura, like charisma. You know what I mean? So now I'm taking his Riz away. Now he's just Coach I. Tell me if I'm going too far. A great one. If I see them line up, I'm telling every one of my defensive backs, all 5 of you go cover Mike Evans. All five of you. I don't care if Baker Mayfield walks in another touchdown around the right side. I don't care. We've already lost. We can't get the ball back. It's game over. The L's on the books. There's nothing left to do but let the last few seconds tick off. If rivalries aren't dead in the NFL, if I am the head coach of the Saints, am putting 5 defensive backs on Mike Evans. I'm going jam his ass at the line, drive him 15 yards the wrong way. Do not let him touch that football. Do not let him get 1,000 yards. I don't care if they score a touchdown and we go down. I don't care. Do not let him get that 5 yards. I want everyone wearing a number lower than 70 to be standing in Mike's face. Do not let him, don't even give Baker the option to throw him the ball. And if Baker spikes the ball or takes a knee, when we line up, do it again. 7 men in his face. I don't care if Baker walks in a touchdown. That's what a damn rivalry's supposed to be. And instead, we play soft-ass pillow coverage and just let him have the mark. Bleep that.
Yeah, I did. I think most of the guys, or a lot of the guys in the NFL, it's just about being businessmen, and they know that the businessman across from them is about to get paid, so they make sure that guy gets paid. I mean, you never know. That guy might be on your team next year.
Well, Mike Evans won't be a Saint. I can go ahead and guarantee you that. But the point here is, I'm now convinced NFL rivalries are dead. I am. Now, I'm not saying that's good or bad or whatever. That's up to you subjectively, whether you think that's good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever. But I'm convinced NFL rivalries are dead. They don't exist anymore. Because if that was and that would have been a rival, but if that was a rivalry, if I had to rank New Orleans Saints rivalries, number 1 is the Falcons, number 2 is the Bucks. Sorry, Carolina, you're checking in maybe 3rd. Maybe. If I'm a Saints fan, and I am, I'm putting Atlanta 1, Tampa 2. And if I'm ranking players that are a rival, Mike Evans is number 1. He is the number 1 rival of this team. And so, to me, if Cat needs 5 yards, no, I'm putting 7 guys on his face and I'm stopping him from getting it. Oh, it's going to cost him $3 million. I don't care. I don't care. That dude has been in multiple fist fights with multiple of my players over multiple years. I don't care. That seems like a him problem. You had 16 other games to pick up those 5 yards and you failed to do it. That's on you, bro. Absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. Rivalries are dead. So here's what I want. I want you to text the show, 844-326-3663. Poll question of the day, and it's a very simple one. Are NFL rivalries dead? Text 844-326-3663. Yes, if you believe they are dead. No, if you believe they are not dead. Or maybe if you think there is like 1 legitimate, maybe 2 legitimate rivalries left. And if you do, text maybe and the rivalry. 844-326-3663. Are NFL rivalries dead? Text yes, text no, or text maybe, and the rivalry you think is still alive. Let's take a break. Back after this, we'll get your thoughts on that. The phone line's open. It's the same number, 844-326-3663. All that and more coming up on The Rob Brown Show and The Fan Upstate. Bam, 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 ba-da-da-da.
Tim had the wrong year on the Sports Flash.
The wrong year.
Yeah, that's why we were going back. Listen,
Because-
that's going to happen some. I did it last week on on the Bobby Mack Minute. It is January, 2025, not,
And for Patriots fans, hopefully he's just like Josh Allen looking for his 115th consecutive start. Milton again, Booty wide open. Booty wide open. Milton again, Booty wide open. Booty wide open. Booty wide open.
I'm about to make a remix of a rap song with Booty Wide Open in it.
Oh, so he's saying booty.
Yeah.
Okay, I
It's
can.
Keon Booty.
It sounded like he said birdie wide open.
Milton again, Booty wide open.
Still sounds like birdie to me. But that's
And he
fine.
like
you know who it is. So I mean, if you say it,
Milton again.
Booty Wide Open.
Well, you
It's
can-
got such a cadence to
so
it.
you can talk over it. It still sounds like he says birdie.
He says Milton again, Booty Wide. Oh, it's got like a legit cadence to it.
For his 115th consecutive start. Milton again, Booty wide open.
Well, that's fun.
Yes, I know it was your bad. It's like someone making a mistake on the field and pointing to themselves.
My
We
bad.
know.
My bad.
Yeah, we know. We know.
It's the chest tap. This is the official symbol of my bad. It's my bad. My bad.
No, this is better.
Yeah.
This
I feel like this is like I did my best and it didn't work. Right? Like, what do you want me to do? I feel like that's what you want.
no.
What do you
This
want
to
do?
me is I screwed up. The my bad thing. It's just dumb because
My bad.
everyone knows you screwed
My
up.
bad. My bad. I feel like my bad. I feel like the arms outstretched is like, what am I supposed to do? What am I did it right. What am I supposed to do? Like if you come home and your wife's like, you didn't take the trash out when you knew you were supposed to. That's my bad. That's my bad. But if you come home and you did take the trash out, but the trash man didn't come and she's like, why is the trash still here? You'd be like, I don't know. I did what I was supposed to do and it didn't work.
I don't think I've ever done this before.
You never done the chest pad?
No,
My bad.
because-
This was.
Because if I screw up and someone's pointing out that I screwed up, duh.
Well, no. I would say this: you do this before anybody else points out that you screw up, right? Like I don't need you to point out as my bad. That's on me. That's my bad.
So you're trying to take
That's
it
my
from
bad.
them. It doesn't work though.
It's not take it so much as you want other. Being able to acknowledge an error to other people is a wonderful trait that more people need to embrace, and that's what you're doing. You're going, I know I screwed up. That's my bad. You
Yeah,
don't have
we
to-
all saw you drop the ball. You don't need to point out that you know that you dropped the ball. We saw you do it.
It's about accountability.
Is
This
it?
is accountability. Eight 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE. That is the text line. Our text poll of the day is this: are NFL rivalries dead? Text yes, text no, or text maybe, and include an NFL rivalry that is still alive. If you think there's like one or two, maybe. If you think there's three or four, then no, you think that they're alive. But if you think there's like one good rivalry or two good rivalries left, text maybe and put your rivalry into the text poll. 844-326-3663. Are NFL rivalries dead? Text yes, no, or maybe, and include the rivalry. I say yes, and they died for me over the last year. Last year when Dennis Allen, the head coach of the former head coach of the New Orleans Saints, thankfully, apologized to the Atlanta Falcons for scoring And then yesterday, when Mike Evans was just allowed to cross the 1,000-yard mark, instead of having 7 Saints defenders beating him up from the snap and preventing him from getting there, which would have been the ultimate heel move, and I'd have been all over it.
You know, looking at how the Saints season has played out, you could have had all those defenders on there and he still would have got the yard.
I mean, maybe, but I'd take the shot. I'd take the risk.
There's a reason why he was going for 1,000.
I would take the risk. Texter said, who cares? NFL is boring and entertainment is evidenced by the scratch my back mentality and allowing whatever feels good. Give me the CFP any day. Pure, unadulterated hate and rivalry. 24/7 BTW. Go Irish.
That's funny. That's
I would absolutely.
No. It's still funny. It's good to know that the college people are still out there. But whatever you think college football is, it won't be that.
You don't think rivalries are better at college?
I think they only exist in college. I don't think they ever really existed in the NFL.
I think they used to exist in the NFL. And for the record, I think it was like a long time ago. I'm not talking about in the last 10. I'm talking about like back in the day. I think there were legitimate NFL rivalries, and I think there are still some teams who like to hit each other. I think, I assume Cleveland and Cincinnati get at it. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, I know they bring a little extra juice, but I just don't know that it has here's my thought. If your rivalry exists, kickoff to final whistle, that's not a rivalry, right? If you hate them from the kickoff to the final whistle and that's it, that's not a rivalry. That's just an opponent that you don't like. Rivalry is I'm thinking about you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 days before the game, and I'm either bragging to your face or avoiding your face for the 365 days until we get together and do it again, right? That's a rivalry. That's a rivalry. All right, we got somebody on the phone. Who we got, Lonzo? Because I still don't have my stuff. Kevin, welcome in, big dog. Good to have you back, brother.
Hey, man, Happy New Year, all that good stuff, man. Going ham in the rain this morning, man.
In the rain at 9 a.m. Oh, dude. I'm not going to lie to you, Kev. I walked out of my house at like 4:07 this morning, and I was ready to hit somebody, and not in like the fun football way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Listen, anytime rain come down, we can just go out in the yard and play backyard football just so I can stick me somebody and we can slide.
Nope. Kev, NFL, college, backyard football, you can keep your cold-ass rain to yourself, fella.
Oh, man. Hey, man, see, you just explained it. That's why football is soft now. Don't nobody play backyard ball no more. In the rain, in the snow.
Whoa. Time out. Wait, Kevin.
By the way, I agree with Kevin. You can time out all you want. You are lame,
I am.
Whatever, not wanting to play in the weather.
No. Let's go hang out and do the show outside right now. Let's be tough, Lonzo. Let's go do the show outside. Go set up a Comrex.
Let's go. You go set up a Comrex.
No, I'm not going outside. This is you being big tough boy, not me.
No. Hey, man, we can't go outside and have a show. But if I tell you what, tell me I can't guard you or something like that and watch we go out there in the rain and suit up and do what we got to do real quick.
Look, Kevin calling out the 40-year-old overweight white guy like that. Come on, man. You know.
Hey, man, listen. ever since you dropped under 200, man, you've been
Kevin, the last time I was under 200, I was in 7th grade, bro. Relax.
Hey, I like it, though. Hey, check this out. Rivalries are dead, bro. They're dead. Like you say, if I know Mike got 5 yards to get this 1,000 yards, I tell you what, I'm Goldberg spiking him as soon as the ball.
No, hell yeah.
Bro, as soon as that ball snapped, I'm breaking ribs. Like, don't guard nobody. Go stick him. He not getting that. Like, I'll never forget. And I was probably in high school then. And this is like late 90s. A guy needed 16 yards to get 1,000 yards in the first 5 games of the season. We were his 5th game. Guess what he ended the game with?
$9.99.
27 carries for negative 30 yards.
Look,
bro, we're not playing that game. Like, you don't come here telling you think you're gonna get your yards on my field. No, bro, that's not going down. Even if it's your field, it's just a part of competition.
I'm gonna say this, Kev. This is how it works for me. As somebody who is an NFL fan, as a New Orleans Saints fan, rivalries are not dead. They should be treated as alive. I think the game would be better if they were. At the end of the day, I understand that it's real easy to say that when me and Lonzo are sitting here and we're only making like $1.2 million a year to do this versus Mike Evan that's it's got $3 million on the line. And, if you're on the other side of the ball, you're a defensive back and who's to say that next year you're not in a spot where one more tackle nets you $3 million and the Buccaneers go, cool, we're never going to your side of the field because you stop Mike, whatever. Like, to me, if you're not willing to go above that, to go above incentives and payouts and looking after other guys and yada, 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 then it ain't a rivalry. And rivalries are dead, however the fans feel about it. I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm walking down the street and I see a Falcons fan, I'm going to tell him I think he's dirty and gross. All right? I'm going to tell him I think he's a snitch and he's dirty. Because I am going to hold on to that grudge for as long as I live as a Saints fan. But they're dead in the NFL, and frankly, I think the NFL's worse for it. That being said, there's so much money on the line for these guys. I understand it.
And it's a lot of money on the line, right? But at the same time, I'm looking at it like, I know I got some change in the bank over there from the other team, but he's not finna just get a free $3 million on my clock. I want them 3.
Yep.
So maybe if I stop him from getting his last 5 yards, I might get another little check because I stopped him from doing it.
Yep.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Kevin, good to talk to you, big dog. Thanks for checking back in, brother. Let's do it again soon. My man Kev going ham at 9 a.m., except at 6:45. Yeah, I don't want rivalries to be dead. I don't. I think the NFL would be better if we had old school rivalries. I think all sports would be better if we had old school rivalries. What makes college football fun? What makes, and I'll say fun, and then I will go one step further to say what makes maybe most of y'all listening have the take that college football is better than the NFL is the rivalry, or at least the attitude and the spirit or whatever that generates that rivalry, which, again, I think NFL fans, by and large, we all have that team that we can't stand. For Lonzo, it's the Broncos. I can't imagine Lonzo had even knowing you were losing that game yesterday, had any semblance of fun watching your backups get it hammered to you by 70.
I made it through part of the third quarter, and I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Even when you could look them in the face and go, you understand we're letting you win because we have the 1 seed in the bye locked up, and we got that 3 weeks ago. Maybe chill out. It's still not fun.
Although I did enjoy the fact that Sean Payton was doing such a good job when you don't like him. I mean, that's the only pleasure that I got out of it.
Again, do not confuse criticize with dislike.
Come on.
All right? Those are different things.
Come on.
I don't have any. I have nothing but apathy towards Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but apathy.
That's why you hide your eyes so people can't see.
Yes, that's why. And not because I just look like a complete and total badass with these glasses on.
Okay.
Which is the real reason.
All right.
I think
it doesn't go well with the hipster look, though. I mean, you got to find some hipster sunglasses.
Flannel isn't hipster.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes,
flannel is part of the hipster uniform, but it is not the hipster uniform. I want you to tell every lumberjack in Canada they're a hipster.
Yeah, you ain't cut down any trees since last year, but still. I mean, Helene caused people to cut.
No, I did. I got our Christmas tree this year.
Oh, you went and cut it down yourself.
Yeah, that's our thing. Any year we're staying here for Christmas, we go get our own tree.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's Mardi Gras tree. We put the Mardi Gras tree.
Did you sojourn through the snow in the mountains to find that perfect tree?
No, I didn't go that hard. I didn't have my flannel with me. So I think the NFL would be better if we had those rivalries back. But again, I think that at the end of the day, when there's that, it's the same thing.
There's only one team with that mentality in the entire NFL, and that's the Detroit Lions. That's it. Everybody else is business. Detroit Lions have that old school mentality.
I do wonder if that's going to change. I do wonder if more teams. And here's the thing, because last night the Detroit Lions beat the hell out of the Vikings, and the Vikings are the other team. I would say, like, what an interesting, unique culture that Kevin O'Connell has built, but that culture got their asses whipped last night by the Detroit Lions because the Detroit Lions were out there trying to bite kneecaps, right? So I do think that the NFL would definitively be better if we could capture that old school mentality where teams hated each other. But here's the other part of it. When these players jump team to team via free agency, again, I don't care. Doesn't bother me that much. I pull for the team, not the guys on it, okay? When players jump free agency periods like that, they're not going to build up a rivalry because they're on a team for, 3, 4, 5 years. Then they're on to the next team. There's not that time to build that hatred, or at least not any deeper than surface level. But at the end of the day, to me, rivalries live with us. Rivalries live with the fans. The heat and passion of a rivalry comes from us. We project that onto the teams, and then if you do it right, the players pick up on that, right? Dabo and Shano slap hands and say what up and bro hug out at the 50 every game. How many of y'all on game day are doing that? Very few, right? That's the rivalry lives with us, but I do think it would be better. I think it would be better if we could capture that mentality. What's the talking point today, great one? If on that Tampa Bay first down, New Orleans really did genuinely put 6 DBs on Mike Evans. Just straight up. We don't care if anybody else scores. Y'all can have a free trip to the end zone. We will give you 7 because the game's over. We don't care. We're putting
that's exactly
6 on Mike
what
Evans.
would have happened. Baker would have went, okay, 4 guys are open over here.
Don't matter.
Okay.
Don't matter. The only reason they threw that, they're up 8 or whatever it was, with seconds left. We can't win that game. We can't. You can't win that game. So the only reason to run a play was to give Mike Evans a touchdown. There's no other reason to run a play. We're out of timeouts. We can't get the ball back. You take a knee twice, it's ball game. But instead, they ran a play, and everybody, not in the stadium, everybody in America knew where that ball was going. There is only one guy we're running this play for, and it's Mike. He's the only guy we're running that play for. If I'm Darren Rizzi, who is now just Coach I, because he's got no Riz, a guy I have kind of liked all year long, despite us sucking. I'm like, all right, we suck, but like Rizzi's got that Riz. I'm good. And not gone. It's gone. He's just Coach I now. The fact that he did not look at defense. He
probably is gone, but anyway.
They're talking about he might stay on board as an assistant, but I mean, if they don't give him the head coaching job, he's gone. If I'm Riz, I'm looking at the defense. I'm pointing at every single person out there whose number is 59 or below, and I'm going, go get in front of Mike's ass, and I want you to wreck him on the snap. I want 5 guys knocking his ass in the dirt the second Baker touches the football. I mean, I want him in the dirt. You do not give him those 5. He is ending this year on 995, or I'm cutting everybody on this defense. Just like that.
Cutting as in releasing, not cutting.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
But maybe that one too. Dude, I am generating the biggest rivalry moment in the history of the NFL. I'm putting 5 guys on Mike and going, you're not getting it. I don't care what y'all do. You're not getting it. It's not happening. And if you put Mike in a stack with another wide receiver blocking in front of him, I'll add 2 more. We'll run them both over. I'm freight training that
You would
guy.
have a different kind of anger if they actually did that and he still got the 5.
Yes, I would. But I'd rather have tried it and stopped it than just give it. We just gave it to him. Screw that dude. I mean, screw that dude. I guess screw that dude. Like, that dude has been a pain to this organization for 11 years. He has trash-talked and cheap-shotted and got in your face and punched players on the sideline, and you just let him have that?
Is he going to the Hall of Fame?
Mike Evans? Oh, yeah, for sure. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And
I hope he thanks Saints fans.
Honestly, like, when they put his exhibit in, I'm assuming the picture behind him is going to be when he cheap shotted Marshawn Lattimore on the sideline. Like, stop. Go get that dude. Don't let him have it. Break that record. Break that streak. Take him out of the record book quest for Jerry Rice. Now he's still in it because of us. I got a problem. Texas said why. Still asking why. No answer why. They did not just give it to him. They were playing 5 yards off the line coverage. He needed 5 yards. If he needed like 22 yards, then your argument's good. He needed 5 yards, and you're playing off-ball coverage?
Last I checked, he's kind of a large man, isn't he?
You put 5 on him.
No, you play off that guy because your DB is probably a little bit smaller.
5 yards.
He's not
He needed 5 yards.
Come up and try to bump him or
5
something.
yards. Put a helmet between the numbers and knock his bleep in the dirt. What are we doing?
Apparently that didn't work because he ended up with 1,000 yards. I mean, so nobody could do that.
He only had like 65 in the game. Like he didn't
No,
go
what I
off.
mean overall in the season, apparently people must have tried that. And
I don't care
work.
about weeks 1 through 17. They were running a play specifically for no one else but him. You know where the ball's going. It goes anywhere else. Who the hell cares? Stop it.
I appreciate your passion for your team.
Texter said,
who have nothing to play for.
Texter said, dude, now you're just making stuff up. What am I making up? What am I making up? You know where the ball's going. He was just there. Texter said, you're contradicting yourself. The game matters or it doesn't. You say it didn't matter. So what? And they play a normal defense. Based on your logic, they should have covered Evans for 60 minutes. Furthermore, why do you care so deeply that the guy gets his bag? This is not. Did you listen to me, Texter? It's like this is what drives me crazy about like half of you guys listening. It's that you hear what you wanted me to say and not what I said.
Okay, you don't know that that's half. That might be like 5 people that feel that way.
It's a figure of speech, okay? It's a figure of speech. Here is what I
Science
actually
guy,
mean.
I would think you'd want to be more accurate. I'm just saying.
No, I'm right.
Okay, all right.
Here is the take, Texter. Listen to what I'm saying and not what you want me to have said. Here's the take. The guy's the biggest pain in the ass on my second biggest rival, and he has been a jackass the entire career. Only in my rivalry game, only to me. But do not let him have anything. It's just pure hatred from me. This is just pure hate. That's all. This is love when Lonzo provides you with the sports flash.
Just a little late. The NFC North and the NFC's number 1 overall seed belong to the Detroit Lions. Have to go out there and take a breather. 31-9 win over the Minnesota Vikings last night. Detroit capitalized on the kick out of bounds with 15 seconds left in the first half to take a 10-6 lead. And Jahmyr Gibbs, 3 rushing and 1 receiving touchdown night, put Minnesota away. The NFL's Black Monday has arrived. I said Monday. I don't know why. Though one team didn't wait to fire their head coach. The New England Patriots released first-year head coach Gerard Mayo yesterday. The Patriots finished 4-13, but defeated the Bills yesterday 23-16, which surrendered the first overall draft pick. May have been one of the reasons why. Tune in this Wednesday at 6:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus the Citadel right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, upstate.
We hung the 65-inch in the living room, and we put it on one of the wall mounts that comes off and swivels up and down. Holy crap, what a game changer. It's the best.
Those look like really hard to install, though.
Shockingly, it was not. I was terrified. Now, I had my buddy Teddy, my lead singer in my band, came up, and he was up in Virginia, so he stayed with us on the way back. So he helped me. You can't do it by yourself, but it was really easy once we got it hung. But it was fantastic. So I met last night. I was cooking dinner, and I wanted to make something. So I pulled up a Gordon Ramsay recipe that I wanted to try for a while. And I pulled it up on my phone, and then my phone was like, would you like to cast this to your TV? And I was like, yeah. So I cast it just straight up. It just turned off everything else and went straight up there. And so I swiveled it to the kitchen because the living room and the kitchen are next to each other, and the TV faces out. So I pulled it out, swiveled it over to the kitchen, and brought the remote in there. And I was able to just like start it and stop it on my phone as I was making the recipe. It was fantastic.
How'd the food turn out?
Really good. I made so it was a pasta dish that he was making, but I Cajun-fied it, which has just made it spicier. But it was a sausage. It was a white pasta with sausage, a white wine sauce pasta with sausage. But I replaced the sausage with shrimp and blackened the shrimp. Also, my now brother-in-law got me a 17-inch Blackstone griddle for Christmas, and I fired it up, and holy crap, what a game changer that thing is. Why am I so blurry?
It's a flannel.
It's really aggravating.
Or maybe it's how pale you look in that light.
That might be it. It's been a minute since I've gotten sun.
No, but it's the light. It's not I mean.
This isn't one of the fancy ones. The one at my house has now.
No, that's better than the. There we go.
That's what it was on.
Red.
The one at my house, I can do colors. I need to bring that one in. I also started. I was gonna buy concert stage lights from a bar that just got shut down, and I was gonna put them in the corners and turn the background into a rock stage. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show goes now. It is the Fan Upstate. Texture said, Rob, I normally disagree with you, but I totally agree with you about Mike Evans. Yeah, man, just stick that dude. Don't let him have the record. Not against you. Should have got it somewhere else.
Doing all that you say they should have done, he still would have got the record before the game was over.
Right. You understand. I'm only saying do that on one play. Do it on a play that doesn't matter. The game's over. You can't win.
The game didn't matter.
It mattered
to one team.
The game mattered a lot.
It mattered to one team for sure, but not to the other.
It mattered a lot. And again, here's the other part of a rivalry. If I can stop you from getting into the playoffs, I'm coming for you, bro. I'm getting it. That's it. And for the record, I kind of enjoyed the game because Spencer Rattler and the boys came to win. They were balling out. It's just Tampa was better. But no, you're not if I can stop you from getting it, you're not getting it. Texter said, I'm listening, Poppy. And that is not my wife's number. I leaned in real close to I don't know why I would think for a second it is. She's never called me that in my life.
Poppy? Is that like grandpa kind of?
No, Poppy is daddy in Spanish.
Oh,
like I
so P-A-P-I.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Oh, no. It says, I'm listening, Papa. Why is that worse? That's worse.
Well, maybe
that hurts my feelings.
See really well with what you're wearing.
No, it's just it's so far away.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Texter said, thank you for using logic, my man. Texter said, why? Still asking why. No answer why. They did not just give it to him. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Texter said, you're contradicting yourself. The game matters or it doesn't. You say it didn't matter. So what if they play a normal defense? Based on your logic, they should have quad covered Evans for 60 minutes. Furthermore, why do you care so deeply that the guy gets his bag? This is not a Michael Strahan situation. All right, I'm breaking this one down, and then I'm moving on because we got to get to the water cooler cheat sheet.
It's a great point, by the way, because if it was, they would have played 10 back.
Nope.
They would have played 10 back and said, go ahead and get it.
Nope. Here's what I'm saying. On that, the last play of the game was out of reach. It did not matter. The score, it's not that the game didn't matter. The game did matter. They clearly meant something because the Saints were leading that game for like 3.5 quarters before Tampa just got them as a better team at the end. For 3.5 quarters, we tried to win the game. When this play happened, the game was over. So the outcome was no longer in doubt. Tampa won that game. So if they win it by 7 more points or 14 or 21, who cares? You want to put a stake in them? Keep their boy from getting that bonus. Keep their boy from getting the bag. Why? Because football. When the game was in doubt, you can't quad cover a guy because they'll score every play. We're trying to win the game. But when we can no longer win the game is over. You can't get it back. Now, I'm going to try to do the most painful thing would have been what? Beat the Buccaneers, Falcons beat Carolina, Tampa's knocked out of the playoffs. That's the most painful thing you can do to them. Once that's over and they're going to the playoffs, it's inevitable. They've won the game. What's the second most painful thing you can do? Stop their favorite guy from getting his thing. This is just rivalry. It's just rivalry. All right. We got a lot more we got to get to, a lot more to talk about. That texter said, the honesty is appreciated. You're good in my book. Wish I could have called in. Your show was great. Thank you, texter. For the record, it's just fun. All right? Just good old-fashioned harmless fun.
I don't know. You don't look like you're having fun.
I'm a little heated. I'm a little pissed about my team. I really am. I'm a little heated. So we should calm it down with a nice, refreshing glass of water from the water cooler, Cheat Sheet. You see what I did there? This segue. That's pretty good.
I thought you were going to hurt yourself the way you nodded your head.
That's pretty good. I needed this on the page there, you know.
Because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
Shut the hell up.
even before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go.
Welcome to the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It is the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know on this Monday, January 6, 2025. Let's get to it. Let's dive right in with item number 1. We start in the PGA Tour, as you all knew we were going to. It's the biggest news of the day. Hideki Matsuyama opened the new season as the PGA Tour got started this weekend. Hideki Matsuyama outpaces Colin Morikawa by 3 shots to open up winning tournament number 1. Now, that's fine. That's not the story. The story is that at the Century, Hideki Matsuyama had 35 holes at birdie or better to finish 35 under par. Those are both PGA Tour records. 35 out of 72. That is almost a 50% rate of birdie or better. If you're not a golf guy, I don't really know how to explain to you what that is, what that means, how that looks. That's not incredible. That's something more than incredible. I don't really know what analogy. You know, I am undefeated at analogies. I'm perfect at it. Every analogy I've ever made, chef's kiss, spot on, perfect. 100 out of 100, 5 stars, no questions. Okay? 100% nail every single analogy.
No way.
Every one of them. I don't have one for this. I just don't. A baseball player hitting a home run every other game, maybe. About as good as I could go with. An NFL player, like a quarterback throwing for 3 touchdowns and running for 2 like Bryce Young did this weekend, but doing it every other game. Like that, I don't know what to tell you. It's a ridiculous number. Anyway, $3.6 million to Hideki Matsuyama for his 11th career victory. Pretty solid day. Pretty solid. Now, he got a little help. It was a wide open plantation style course. It's supposed to be filled with wind. It was a very lovely weekend at the Century, and he took advantage. And for me, that's what I'm looking for here. Like I've said before, I like watching PGA Tour events where the course is kicking guys' ass so they struggle, so that they look like me when I'm out there hacking it up.
You said filled with wind.
Like me when I'm out there. We didn't get that. It was a nice day. It was a nice weekend. Hideki Matsuyama was an absolute legend in that one. Item number 2. Today in the NFL calendar is a day that is colloquially known as Black Monday. Today is the day that we will find out many, not all, but many of the NFL franchises that will dispatch their current head coach and begin the quest for a next. We'll keep an eye on that.
If we have breaking news today, instead of using the breaking news sounder, I'm going to use
I
that.
accept. That is for today. That is an acceptable substitution. We will find out if anybody gets the pink slip during the course of this show. However, we know the New England Patriots will not be firing their head coach today because they fired him yesterday. Jerod Mayo beats the Buffalo Bills. Now, in fairness, the Bills had nothing to play for. The Bills were playing for a 2 seed. You ready for my conspiracy theory of the day? You want to know why Jerod Mayo got fired? Now, there's 2 possible explanations to this. Possible explanation numero uno is that the Patriots want Mike Vrabel. That the Patriots went, we should have got Mike Vrabel last year. We had the opportunity. We passed on Mike Vrabel. We went and got Jerod Mayo. And here's the thing. Mike Vrabel is considered the head runner for like a couple of other jobs. The rumor is the Jets are interested in Mike Vrabel. The rumor is the Bengals are interested in Mike Vrabel. There's a few other teams that are interested in Mike Vrabel. But Mike Vrabel is, of course, a former New England Patriot. So was Jerod Mayo. They passed on Vrabel last time. They got Jerod Mayo. The rumor right now is that they are going effectively, we may only have this chance to get Mike Vrabel, right? If we give Jerod Mayo a second year and it doesn't work out, Vrabel might be in Cincinnati or New York or Chicago or wherever else, and we can't run that risk. We got to get that guy right now. That is the most likely outcome. Here's my conspiracy theory. Going into yesterday, the New England Patriots had the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, and all they had to do was lose to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to keep that pick. And what did they do? Not that.
Did Josh Allen play yesterday?
I don't know. I didn't watch this game because honestly, I didn't give a damn about it at all. I didn't care about this game at all. Why? Because this game, by the way, Rob Brown yesterday locked in a 4-leg can't win parlay, right? Ordinarily, you go can't lose parlays. You look and you take like 4 minus 375, minus 450 parlays, like teams that just can't lose this game. Yesterday, I did the opposite. Yesterday, I picked teams that couldn't win. And by couldn't win, I mean literally would damage themselves if they did win. The Packers were one of them. They lost to the Bears because reasons. And the Patriots to lose. Because if they lost that game, they finished 3-14 and they have the number 1 overall pick. 23-16, the Patriots beat the Bills in this one, and they surrender the number 1 pick. By the way, no, Josh Allen did not play. Mitchell Trubisky got the win. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch a second of this game because it wasn't whether Josh Allen played or not. It wasn't whether the Bills played their starter or not. It was if the Patriots lose this game, they have the number 1 overall pick. If they give away this game, they get the number 1 pick. If they win this game, they don't. And they gave away the number 1 overall pick. My conspiracy theory is the New England Patriots looked at Jerod Mayo and they were like, dude, are you serious? Are you serious, bro? Are you for real? The number 1 pick was ours, and all you had to do was what everyone in America expected you to do and lose to the number 2 seed in the AFC. All you had to do was not this, and you get to stick around.
So you
but
expected, no. You expected them to let come on, dude.
I expected
Mitchell Trubisky to beat them.
I expected them.
Which I'm still surprised he's still in the league, aren't you? Because I didn't.
No, I mean, he's good enough to be a consistent backup. Okay. I got no issue with him being a consistent backup. What I expected.
You can't beat a poor New England team, though, can he?
What I expected was for this team to not go out there and bust hump to win the game. And I understand you got players and you got guys that are out there. You got players and you got guys that are fighting for roster spots and fighting for tape and all that. So how do you counter that? If you're a GM and a head coach, you go, we're throwing a couple of subs here and there. Maybe we run some pretty vanilla bland offense. We give guys a chance to make plays, but not in a way that helps us win the game. I'm not saying this is what they will do. I'm saying it's what they logically should do.
Yeah, except for if you do that, then you are saying we're trying to throw this game.
Yes.
And so you don't
Yes.
do that because there are players out there who may be on their final year of a contract. They're looking to go somewhere else. They want to play to showcase themselves. They don't want to go sit on the bench while some guy who's not going to play is out there.
So what? I'm not your friend. I'm your employer. It is best for the business. There's no other business where the narrative is kind of being rewritten, but there's not many other places where I'm at a business go, hey, it's better for our business to go in this direction and you don't fit in anymore. Do we throw a riot? We just don't. That being said, Joe Milton's kind of a dog. 22 of 29, 241 yards and a touchdown, and was scrambling. Joe Milton he only has 16 rushing yards on the books. Joe Milton probably had like 190 scrambling yards yesterday. Joe Milton might be a dog. That dude, like, legit, if I'm a team that needs quarterback, I might make a push for Joe Milton. I might go try to get that guy up out of the Patriots and see what he can do. Anyway, the Pats, 23-16 winners over the Bills. It cost themselves the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, and they fired Gerard Mayo hours after that. So New England becomes the first team, well, aside from the Saints and the Jets and the Bears, become the first offseason team to toss their name into the head coaching search. Let's get to item number 3. After the Detroit Lions knock off the Minnesota Vikings last night, our NFL schedule for the wild card weekend is set. The LA Chargers will open it up on the road at the AFC South champion Houston Texans. That game is on Saturday at 4:30 on CBS. Then the nightcap, we got an AFC North matchup as the Ravens capture the crown in the AFC North. They will host their rivals, I guess, the Pittsburgh Steelers at 8 p.m. Saturday night. That game is on Prime Video. Then on Sunday, a trio of games kicking off at 1 p.m. The Denver Broncos are on the road at the 2 seed, the Buffalo Bills. Denver, of course, gets the win over Kansas City's third stringers yesterday. They are at Buffalo at 1 p.m. The Green Bay Packers check in as a wild card team, the third of 3 NFC North teams. They will be on the road at Philadelphia at 4:30 on Fox. And then at 8 o'clock, we wrap it up when soon-to-be-crowned Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels, and his Washington Commanders. But do we have to retire that now because they're not a bunch of morons anymore? Dan Snyder leaves, and they're immediately in the playoffs. I think we got to kill that chant, right?
Enjoy the name while you can, because all the rumors is it's going to be gone. So, the Commanders.
Oh, I mean, cool. Whatever. Like, do something cool. Right? Like, command. Honestly, I prefer to watch
a lot of lawsuits and things if it's legitimate, trying to get it back to what it was.
It's not going to go back to that. I can go ahead and book you on that right now.
We'll see.
Ain't no chance it goes back to that. Anyway, the Washington Commanders, who I will not bums anymore because they're not bums anymore. They're in the playoffs. They're on the road down at Tampa Bay. That one at 8 p.m. on NBC. And then we wrap it up with a little Monday Night Football as the wild card Minnesota Vikings out of the NFC North will head out to sunny South California to take on the Los Angeles Rams. That one at 8 p.m. on Monday. And by the way, have you ever watched somebody lose as much money as quickly as Sam Darnold did last night? Sam Darnold played himself out of a $100 million extension last night.
He can redeem himself.
No, he can't.
He's not done.
No, can't. Yes, he is, and I'll tell you why. In the next segment. Bang! 2 segues in 1 segment? I'm real good at this, you guys. I'll tell you why Sam Darnold lost $100 million last night when we come back. Rob Brown, Lonzo, you, the Rob Brown Show, the fan of Upstate.
You see.
Quick read, guys. Coming right back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. And also, good morning. And also, stay right there. And also, be right back.
Is it good or bad that the Chiefs have the easiest road to the Super Bowl?
I mean, for this Chiefs team this year, good.
Look at how the brackets are set up, which is why that number 1 seed was so important.
Yes,
because
for
now, if things go chalk, then Baltimore is going to have to play Buffalo.
Yep.
And hopefully they beat the mess out of each other. And Kansas City's got to hope that Houston knocks off Chargers.
I mean, in fairness, the NFL reseeds in the playoffs, so you're getting the lowest seed every round anyway. But
really,
yeah,
didn't realize that.
Yeah,
okay, maybe I realized it. I just don't remember it.
So I want to play you a quick soundbite that I grabbed this morning, and I don't do this all the time, but I felt like this one was kind of interesting. The MVP discussion has begun. I said I'm going to come to Sam Darnold. I am going to come to Sam Darnold. Stick with me here for a second. I was scrolling around social media last night because I'm a late night doom scroller, and I came across a clip from a up-and-coming podcast called Stuff About Sports. It's just some dudes. And I found a couple of their clips. They're good. I like them, to be honest. I'll probably check out some more of their stuff. But they were having a discussion on the Stuff About Sports podcast about the NFL MVP. And I play this for 2 reasons. Number one, because I've been saying this to you for a very long time now. And when I hear other people validate my take, because I have a gigantic ego, it makes me feel good about myself. I can put the self-doubt aside for just a moment. Number 2.
I almost fell out of my chair. You said you had a gigantic ego.
I know. Shocking. I'm as humble as I am handsome, which is to say very. Number 2, the reason I like this clip, aside from an excellent take and one that I've had for a very long time, is because it took place before the game last night. And the game last night was involved.
Clearly, every year, the definition on what an MVP is changes. And until we decide collectively as a fandom, as media, as players, whatever, what an MVP is, we're always going to have these really stupid arguments. Because if the MVP is based on who has the best stats, then Bert, Germ, whether you guys like it or not, Joe Burrow is the MVP of the league because he's leading quarterbacks and everything, right? If the MVP is who has the most wins, then you're looking at essentially whoever wins this Week 18 game on Sunday night between Jared Goff and Sam Darnold and who plays better. That would be the MVP, right? If you're telling me that the MVP is the most valuable player, which player is the most valuable to their team? Josh Allen is the MVP, and it's not particularly close.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's it for me. And this is why I've said this is not a Josh Allen love fest. Without Josh Allen, the Bills would have been cooked this year.
Just a question here. No, I'm not trying. I mean, because I don't know. I guess I could look it up. How many MVPs have won the Super Bowl the year that they won the MVP?
That's a great question. How many NFL MVPs won the Super Bowl in the same year? Let's ask AI. 11. But it goes back to 1966. Bart Starr did it. Bradshaw in 78. Mark Mosley in 82. LT in 86, Montana in 89, Emmett in 93, Steve Young in 94, Favre in 96, Terrell Davis in 98, Kurt Warner in 99, and Patrick Mahomes in 2022. So literally one player has done it in this century.
Yeah. So why? Explain to me why the MVP matters.
It's just the title. Now I'll tell you why a lot of people have it as a major discussion point, something that they love. The answer is because many people incorrectly believe that MVP is best player in the league. And that's not necessarily true. And as the host of the Stuff About Sports podcast just accurately pointed out, a lot of this depends on your definition of valuable, right? Because what I have learned, and I mean, I knew this already because this conversation happens every year, but this year maybe more than others, is that some people think it should be the MSIP, the most statistically impressive player. If you think that it is the most statistically impressive player, then yeah, it's Joe Burrow, who led his team to a sub-500 final and did not make the playoffs. Now, wins and losses are not a quarterback stat. Might as well be the damn war chant of this show, okay? Not a quarterback stat. But I also point out that when you are playing efficient quarterback, when you are playing well as a quarterback, it is easier for the other 10 guys on the offense to get you where you need to be. Josh Allen took less talent than the Bengals have consistently all year long and got him the 2 seed.
See, I disagree with you there because Cincinnati's defense is so bad, and it doesn't matter. It's a team sport.
If I ask you right now,
so overall, if the overall team is better, which Buffalo is, it goes against what your point is.
First off, I would actually push back that Buffalo is an objectively better football team talent-wise. I would push back on that.
On defense, definitely better.
No, we didn't say on defense.
Overall
we said team.
Defense does matter. Because without, if your defense is really good, it's easier to score and do things against you on offense.
You're arguing against the point I didn't make. That's not the point I made. The point I made was on paper, talent-wise, position to position across the football team, I would push back that Buffalo is more talented than Cincinnati. Defense, you're absolutely correct. They are. But as a team top to bottom, which includes the offense, if I said right now that I'm making you the general manager of a team and you can start with Buffalo's offense or Cincinnati's offense, which one of those two offenses are you starting with?
I can't answer.
I can, Cincinnati.
No, because I was going to go with Cincinnati's offense. It's because of the receivers.
Absolutely.
Which may or may not be intact next year.
I would say the receivers. I would say, honestly, the only positions that I would say aren't clearly better. I would say, you know how much I love me some Josh Allen. I'd say you're level at quarterback. And I'd say the Bills are probably better at tight end with Kincaid and Knox than Mike Gesicki and Drew Sample in Cincinnati. But I think there's a better offensive line in Cincinnati. I know there's a better wide receiver core. Even with Amari Cooper, there's a better wide receiver core. And by the way, that doesn't take into consideration the fact that Amari Cooper's been banged up at times this year. He's hurt right now. Keon Coleman missed, almost half the season with a wrist injury, right? Like Josh Allen not only has a lesser receiver core than Joe Burrow, he has a lesser receiver core. And the two top guys, Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper, have both missed multiple games with injuries. So he has barely had any games where he had his full complement of talent around him. I would make the argument Joe Burrow has, no, not an argument. I would state the fact that Joe Burrow has a better offense built around him, at least talent-wise. Now, we can make an argument about coaching and play calling and all that. And again, Sean McDermott's still the coach, so I don't even know if that's a good one.
Look at the fact that the Bills' defense has kept them in games, so they didn't have to work as hard as Joe Burrow has
not even pushing back against that
to win games.
Not even pushing back against that, not at all. But I would also make the point that I think the Bills' defense is definitively better. I would not argue against that. I would also not argue with the fact that I don't think the Bills have had to gut out as many wins as we're making it sound like they do. I don't think they did have to gut out some wins. I'm not arguing that they didn't. They had to gut out a win against the Dolphins earlier this year. They had to gut out a win against the Rams they lost to the Rams, that 44-42 L. If Josh Allen goes and gets you 42 points and your defense gives up 44, that ain't on Josh Allen. Wins and losses are not a quarterback stat. That's not on Josh Allen. They gutted out a win against Detroit. Gave up 42 in it, but Allen went and got you 48. Like, to me,
Burrow, without a doubt, should be the MVP. He's not going to be because it's a popularity contest. It's either going to be the quarterback for Baltimore or the quarterback for Buffalo.
So
and in the end, will it matter? We'll see.
Once again, here's what I'm going to say. Great one. I shockingly am not going to push back on, scratch that. I'm going to push back because I don't agree. I'm giving it to Josh Allen, and I'm giving it over Lamar Jackson. And I got a man crush on Lamar Jackson, too. I really do.
Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah. I'm still giving it to Josh Allen, even with my man crush on Lamar Jackson. I got a man crush on Joe Burrow. Joey B is fresh. I love this cat. But it is not the most statistically impressive quarterback. And Burrow's got the statistically impressive award locked up. If we have one of those, in fact, if we want to create a Robbie for the most statistically impressive season, Joe Burrow's winning that thing. It's either Joe Burrow or Saquon Barkley are winning that thing, right? But that's not what the MVP is. It's valuable. And if it's valuable, guy that if you took him off the team, that team is cooked, Josh Allen's that guy. He's just that guy. Why did Sam Darnold play himself out? 52% rush rate against Sam Darnold last night. He was inaccurate on over 52% of his throws. He had multiple touchdowns in the bag, and he just missed guys.
You consider that getting back to Sam Darnold?
No.
Mention it on your way out.
No. Here's why. Because who did he remind you of? Kirk Cousins. What happened to Kirk Cousins? As soon as the talent went away, so did Kirk Cousins. Nobody's going to pay Sam Darnold to do what Kirk Cousins did in Atlanta this year. Show up for 2-3 weeks and then completely disappear.
Sam Darnold is an amazing backup quarterback. Way to go. He was
I
not the
completely
starter
agree.
at the beginning of the year, and he did better than any other backup quarterback.
I completely agree. And then he looked like a backup when he was needed the most. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Diggs, what's up, big dog? Yeah, that mounted 65 inches is a game changer. The wife told me that we could upgrade the TV for Christmas as her big gift. And when I brought it home, she was like, nope, I don't think that's good. I think that's too big. And then we hung it, and now she's all on board with it. Shockingly, the minute we started watching her shows on it, she was all about it, which, of course, it was awesome. All right, give me 30 seconds, guys.
Oh, man. There goes one. We won.
I'm really tired of Facebook logging me out every time I leave their website.
It doesn't like you.
Clearly. I'm a little bit bummed because with the wife's changing jobs, we don't have the box seat at the stadium anymore. So now we're going to have to sit in the regular seats for the SEC tournament.
Wow.
I know. It's real painful. So, like, I'm going to go to every game I can on a press pass, except every Gamecock fan will sure want to go, and we'll have to get regular seats.
Wow, I thought you knew people there and stuff and, you know, have connections.
This is going to shock you, but a lot of people want to go to those games.
That doesn't shock me. You're Rob Brown.
I don't have, hey, I'm coming to the game, hook me up with free box seats connections. I got connections, but not like that.
You can hang out in the rafters. Best seats there are, right?
I actually am scheduled to get a tour of the rafters, and I'm really excited about it. The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob, the great one, Lonzo, and you. 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. That is the number to call into the show. That is also the number to text the show. We have got your Twitter poll of the day working this morning. Looking for your input. Are rivalries dead in the National Football League? Are rivalries dead in the NFL? You have three options to send your vote to 844-326-3663 on the text line. Option number one is yes. Option number two is to text no, rivalries are not dead. Or option number three is to text maybe and provide me with a rivalry if you think there is only one or two that you believe is still genuinely a rivalry. I think rivalries are dead. I think NFL rivalries are cooked. I think they had their time in the sun. You can blame it on free agency, that guys can hop a team every handful of years. You can blame it on the NFL discouraging it by limiting celebrations and all that good stuff. You can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. But I think NFL rivalries are cooked. And much like many of us all the time, it is only when something impacts you that you believe a thing. And I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm in that group. Something impacted me. Talked about it in the first hour. Not going to get too deep down it now, but I am setting it up for the sake of getting this text poll up and running for the day. Last year, the New Orleans Saints ran up the score by the offense, ignoring Dennis Allen and scoring a touchdown so Jamal Williams could get his one and only TD on the year on the ground. And my then head coach, Dennis Allen, told the Atlanta Falcons that he was very sorry that we did that. I wasn't. Score 100. Then yesterday, the Buccaneers put the Saints down. It was over. The game was cooked. And Mike Evans needed 5 yards to reach 1,000 yards to put together 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, 3 fewer than Jerry Rice's record, and keep his quest alive and secure a $3 million bonus. The Saints played like a soft coverage defense on Mike Evans. I would have had like 7 guys on him. There is no way in hell I'm letting you get that 5 yards. And the fact that neither one of those things happened tell me rivalries are dead in the NFL. So my vote is yes, rivalries are dead. I'm looking for your input. 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE. Are rivalries dead in the NFL? Text yes, text no, or text maybe, and include, if you think there is only one or two true rivalries left, what you think that rivalry is. Got a couple of texts in so far. Texter said, hey, it's Kane. Hey, Hot Rod and Gonzo, it's Kane. How about them Lions? They had Jefferson crying out there. Rivalries are dead between the teams. They're probably afraid that if they give that smoke, they'll be investigated by Roger Goodell and canceled by ESPN. And Popeyes is trash. Oh, Kane's going to my. I accidentally started a war on Twitter last night when I said that, and I am prepared to do it on the air because I'm 10 toes in when I'm standing on business. Popeyes is better than Bojangles. Fight me. Bojangles is good. It's good. But Popeyes is better than Bojangles. Fight me. I'm just objectively
Why
right
would
here.
someone fight someone over an opinion on chicken?
I
just
found
don't-
out on Twitter last night.
I don't understand that.
The fans of the Bojangles were quite upset with me last night over that take.
Were they people from around here?
Yes.
So, I mean, because chicken is regional, just like other restaurants are kind of regional.
Yeah, and some people do it better than others,
and
like
Bojangles
Popeyes.
is regional, and Popeyes is kind of fringe, especially here. It's very fringe. That's why if it were not fringe, it would be everywhere, and it's only in certain select places.
No, it's not fringe.
So
it's regional, just like you said. That's the definition of regional.
In South Carolina, it's fringe. Bojangles are everywhere. Popeyes, you have to go find one. So, yeah, I mean, that's
and
proof.
yet they're still better.
That's proof right there. No, the better one, there's more of that because there's bigger demand. Popeyes is so fringe, hardly anybody wants it, and they put it in obscure places. I mean, because they can't put it in a place where people would actually go pass it by and go, nah, where's the Bojangles?
No, if you're passing Popeyes to go to Bojangles, you're wrong. You're just doing it wrong. According to AI, as of Q1 2023, Popeyes has 2,948 restaurants in the United States. Bojangles has 818.
Okay, how many are in South Carolina?
Fringe.
How many are in
Fringe.
South Carolina? My
They
point,
only doubled them up.
all right, you can talk louder than me,
Fringe.
but you're going against my point, which was it is regional, and in this region, in where we are right now, how many Bojangles are there compared to how many Popeyes there are?
That doesn't establish who's better. It just establishes how many more there
I
are.
asked before when you started the thing, I asked you, who were you having arguments with? Was it people in this area?
Oh, yeah,
and
for
you
sure.
said yes.
Yeah.
Which is proof of my point.
That it's regional?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
it
but
is.
you just went, well, it's better because it's in all these places. Yeah, it's all over the place, but here it's not because it's fringe here and it's a Bojangles place and they're never going to overtake it.
No, okay. So there's a difference between it's better versus the opinion of the
If
people
it
around
were
here.
better, the demand would be greater and they would make more. That's how capitalism works. They would go, okay, more people want this. Let me put this in more places where those people can get this.
That means
But people aren't going, where's my Popeyes? No, they're going, where's my Bojangles?
doesn't-
And then they're going to it.
that doesn't make it better. That makes it the opinion around here that
does,
it's better.
it does make it right, which was the whole point. Around here, it's better.
Right. But I'm saying those people are wrong. All right. Let's get to Corn Chip says Bojangles' only good thing is the Bo-Berry biscuits. I'm gonna give them credit. The Bo-Berry biscuits are pretty solid. The Bo-Berry biscuits are like 10 out of 10 for sure. UNC Chris said, this is the correct number. I've been using the old one for weeks now. It's the correct number as of last Thursday.
Listen, Rob hasn't been giving it out enough.
It's every segment.
I don't think you're emphasizing it like you should be.
844-326-3663. That is the text number. Did I emphasize it enough there? I feel like I emphasized it enough there.
Maybe if you did it with your glasses off.
No, that would be de-emphasized. All right. Got a couple more things I wanted to get to here as we wrap up hour number one. We have talked about the MVP. Now another clip, and a clip that I have been hanging on to for a hot minute here. Jason Kelce and his wife, who I adore, now have a late night talk show on ESPN. And I have not gotten to watch the full first episode of it yet, but I'm going to. And I'm going to because one of their first interviews was with Chuck Barkley. Yeah, I'm going to watch Jason Kelce and Chuck Barkley shoot the bleep.
Yeah, because they golf together. So of course that's one of his.
Don't
first
care why.
things. Yeah.
It's also because they're two of the most amusing personalities on television in the sportosphere. That's why. Anyway, they apparently during this show are going to do
just don't have your phone out around, Jason, because
or don't call his brother homophobic slurs.
You might break it and then never pay for it.
Or don't call people homophobic slurs because, hey, around, find out.
Yeah, he said the same thing back to the guy several times.
Yeah,
So,
I think he was saying, don't say that. Don't call him that.
No, that's not what he said.
All right, either way, it doesn't matter.
What he said.
We're not going on because one Kelsey got disrespected because another Kelsey exists. Chuck Barkley was on the Jason Kelsey Late Night Talk Show, and Chuck Barkley was the interview, and a fan member asked Chuck Barkley a question that I don't know that I would have ever thought to ask Chuck Barkley, but now that somebody did, I'm really glad to know the answer.
Charles, should I go to Galveston on a vacation?
That dirty ass water.
I didn't want to get traded out of Phoenix, and people were calling me, asking me different things. I said, yo, man, I want to finish my career in Phoenix. And then when the Rockets called me and said, we traded for you, and I called a couple players, they're like, well, training camp's at the beach. And I'm like, well, it can't be that bad. And we go down to Galveston, and I'm looking at the water. I'm like, what the like, what good is a beach when you can't go on the beach? And they're like,
gosh.
I mean, it was crazy, man. I was like, there's no sense in having a beach if you can't go in the water. But everybody was really nice there. But, man, that dirty water coming up on the beach, I'm like, holy shit. That's it. You're not missing anything.
So now we know why it is that Chuck Barkley hates Galveston, Texas, because he got flat out lied to. He said, I want to stay in Phoenix. They traded him. He's like, all right, Houston will be all right. They got a beach. He showed up to Galveston, and they got that dirty ass water.
He didn't get lied to. He said the training camp's at the beach. They didn't say it was a good beach.
That is fair. They didn't say it was a good beach. But if it's not a good beach, it's not a beach. Then it's just a shore. All right. You ever notice they call it the Jersey Shore and not New Jersey Beach? You know why? Because nobody wants to go to a shore. You want to go to a beach. It's important you get this right.
A shore just a place with no sand, just landings?
No, a shore is a place that you don't want to go, and a beach is a place that you do. I'm pretty sure that's the only big difference. That's the primary difference. We got time?
Sure.
Who we got?
Let's go to Creed.
Creed, welcome back into the show, big fella. Good to have you.
Hey, it'll be quick, and it's just common sense. The NFL, if they had any sense at all, the tiebreaker system, one thing you could change that would have made two big games yesterday is the division to clinch a tie in the division. It's not just it's head-to-head, but the second game means more. In other words, if you sweep, that's fine. But if you split, whoever wins the second game, they get the tiebreaker. That would have meant LA and Seattle yesterday would have been for the division. In fact, if you get lucky, you could have 4 or 5 games at the last game of the year that could be for the division, because the second head-to-head would be the tiebreaker, not just in other words, if you split, it doesn't matter. It's the one who wins the second game.
I get where you're going with it.
It would only be in the division. It wouldn't be for only be in the division for the division title. But yesterday, it would have made Seattle, Los Angeles Rams a heck of a game, because that would have been for the division.
I get where you're coming from. The thought. Let me think about that, Creed. I've never actually thought about that before, and I appreciate it, Big Dog. Good take. Let me think about that. It's an interesting concept, and it's an interesting thought. But I would want to think about that in terms of what implications does it have for the conferences at large, because it would be a thing that impacts the entire NFL. Let me think about that. I appreciate that call. Thank you very much, Creed. Great to have you back on the show, buddy. Let me think about that. All right. We've got plenty more to get to. I got your audio blitz. I got a handful more sound segments that I'm going to play for you coming up in the next segment of the show. We got John Blau with the Post and Courier coming up in about 40 minutes from right now to talk a little Clemson athletics. All of that after Lonzo gives you everything you've ever dreamed of in the Sports Flash.
If your dreams are nightmares. The NFL's Black Monday has arrived. though one team didn't wait to fire their head coach. The New England Patriots released first-year head coach Gerard Mayo. Patriots finished 4-13. That's not good, by the way, but defeated the Bills yesterday, 23-16, which surrendered the first overall draft pick. Patriots are expected to be working on the hiring of another former Patriot, former Tennessee coach Mike Vrabel, as Mayo's replacement. Week 1 of the NFL playoffs are scheduled. The wild card round kicks off this Saturday when the Chargers visit the Texans at 4:30 and the Steelers take on Baltimore at 8. On Sunday, the Broncos visit the Bills. The Packers travel to Philadelphia, and Tampa Bay hosts Washington. Monday night, the Vikings take on the Rams in L.A. Tune in this Wednesday at 6:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus the Citadel right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, upstate. I'm not ignoring you, Zach. I just have that as for the end of the show, and then I'll have to cross it off and find something else. That's all. But since he's not in a room, although the moles will tell him, but still, that's why I haven't responded. I think it's going to be interesting. I cannot wait to watch it and see how long it is. Talking about Raw, how long Raw is on Netflix.
Tonight's Raw is on the official calendar with the wife to watch live. That's not talking about it. That's just a statement about it.
Told you, Zach. Mole tester, effective.
Mole tester? Oh, you think he's ruining it intentionally?
No, not him.
Oh.
I'm not talking to him.
To walk along the lonely street of dreams, down, here I go again on my own.
Cincinnati team that's looking to make a name for themselves. We humans have a way of misplacing things, be it our keys, our socks, or that charging cord for our phone. That's why the 2025 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid is such a lifesaver. Wireless charging keeps that phone all juiced up, so it's ready to use as your Hyundai digital key when you can't seem to find yours. The Hyundai Tucson Hybrid, with advanced tech for humans who are just that, human. Visit HyundaiUSA.com for details. Hyundai, there's joy in every journey. The new 2025 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid with class-leading advanced safety features. When it comes to the best sports talk, so on, man. Listen to the Fan Upstate on Odyssey, no matter where you are, in the car, at app on your phone. Search The Fan Upstate and you're in the game. The Fan Upstate. Wire to wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Bring on Dan Jones, the head football coach of the Gaffney Indians. Coach, appreciate you hopping on with me. Do you think there's a more coveted job in the state than the head football coach of the Gaffney Indians?
You know, I haven't really thought a lot about it, but it's certainly been a blessing for me to, having played here.
Going down the only road I've ever known. Took it down. Was born. Down. Tia Experience said you emphasize the text line like Vince McMahon would. To reevaluate my whole life now. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hour number 3 of the Rob Brown Show is underway right now. I am Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, is on the ones and twos. You are welcome to be a part of the show by giving us a call at 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE. That is also the number to text the radio broadcast. 844-326-3663. That's how you text us on the show. Our text line poll question of the day: are rivalries dead in the National Football League? My answer is yes. I have said it's because it's directly impacted me. It has now punched me in the face. The fact that my last head coach apologized to a rival for scoring a touchdown last year, and the fact that my current head coach did not do everything that he could to prevent a rival from getting a 1,000-yard mark yesterday after the game was already lost tells me, yes, rivalries are dead. You lost the game. So let me ask you this. I was going back and forth, and I'm like, how would I define a rivalry? Like, if you asked me to define a rivalry, ordinarily it would be like two entities that really dislike each other, and I think that's fine. I'm going to redefine it. Tell me if this is a fair definition. A rivalry is somebody that you're willing to get petty with just to make their life worse. That's right. I will get petty with you. You've already beat me on the scoreboard. I can't get you there. What I can do is stop your favorite player from hitting a milestone, and I'm going to sell out to do that. That is nuclear levels of petty. And I think I'm willing to get petty to ruin your day is the definition of rivalry. Is that too simplistic? I don't feel like it is. I feel like it's a pretty good definition.
Well, a person came to mind when you talk about personal rivalries, someone came to mind when you were saying that.
Sure.
For me. And so I think that might be
Well, you haven't
accurate.
gotten petty against me yet, which is obviously who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And definitely nobody else.
Sure. You can only be a rival with someone when you're kind of on equal footing.
Yeah, I'm not on your level
Everyone
yet. That's
knows,
fair.
that you're not on my level.
That's fair. I think a rivalry is somebody you're willing to get petty to ruin their day. And that can be football team to football team. It can be coworker to coworker. It can be coworker to boss. It can be whatever. Somebody you're willing to get petty to ruin their day. And I don't think we really have. I don't really think we have a lot of that. I don't think we have a lot of places where NFL teams are getting petty with each other. Maybe I'm wrong. So text 844-326-3663. If you feel like rivalries do exist in the NFL, text yes. If you feel like rivalries are dead in the NFL, text no. And if you feel like there is maybe just one, maybe two rivalries that are still real, text maybe and include your rivalry in that text. 844-326-3663.
I'm curious about how many people out there that's the selling point for watching their team. I mean, if your team had a bunch of rivalries, now they have none, does that make you not want to watch them anymore?
I don't know that it would stop me from watching my team.
I mean, there's added incentive if your team wins and wins big against your rival.
Yeah.
But what if they're winning every game, but there are no rivals?
I'm obviously less excited about particular games at that point, right? Like I'm less excited about New Orleans, Atlanta if I know the Saints aren't going to get petty when the time calls for it, right? Like I want to go win the game. And then after winning the game, I want to make their day worse. I want Falcons fans to stop watching on TV. I want them leaving the stadium earlier. And I want that game to just like get stuck in the proverbial crawl for a while. That's petty. I'm looking for petty.
Is it petty when one team beats another team and then you're excited because that other team and their fans are going to be quiet for an entire season?
I mean, it's kind of more fun, right? Like it's kind of more fun. The South Carolina Clemson
Except for
fans,
I don't get to play the meow very much anymore because it's because they're quiet.
The South Carolina Clemson fans have had this battle going where South Carolina fans are like, congrats on losing in the first round, losers. And Clemson fans are like, congrats on your playoff. Oh, that's right. You didn't get in, losers. And they've been getting after it on the social media. That's a rivalry.
So that means Clemson got
bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Yes,
they got another loss. Right. So they played in a bowl game.
And in fairness, so did the other team.
Yeah, they played in a bowl game. So did South Carolina, and they both lost. I don't know how it's an advantage
because one played in a playoff game and the other played in the Cheez-Its Bowl.
One played in a meaningless bowl, unless you love Cheez-Its, as I think both of us do.
I do love a Cheez-It.
And the other one got embarrassed in a national setting. I don't know.
I mean, again,
but one team did beat the other team,
rivalry,
despite what
baby.
anyone wants to say.
Rivalry.
And you're right, there isn't really that in the NFL.
There's really not anymore, or at least it doesn't feel like there is to me. Maybe it's just.
I dislike certain teams as usual because of their fans. I don't like Denver and I don't like Buffalo. And it's because of people that I've spent time around and their arrogance and when they win, see, it's because you guys are so stupid.
See?
It's like, okay, dude, fine. All right.
See? All right. So our rivalry's dead.
And they did sound exactly like that.
Oh, I'm sure they did. No exaggeration required or necessary in that spot. So there's the question. Are rivalries dead in the NFL? That's our text poll question of the day. 844-326-3663. Text yes to say rivalries are dead. Text no to say rivalries are alive and fine. Or text maybe if there is a specific rivalry that you think in this case is indeed worth mentioning. 844-326-3663 is the number to make that happen. Let's do this. Let's get to the audio blitz, some of the best audio that we have found since the last time that we were all together, which of course was last Friday, and we have to work a full week this week. Boo. That's okay. We do what we do. I want to play this clip for you. I know it's a couple of weeks old, but it really kind of stuck in my craw just a little bit to hear this, because I kind of felt like I watched a place of sanctimony, sanctuary. That's the word I'm looking for. Those are different words.
Yeah, they're very different
Those
words.
are very different words. A place of sanctuary die.
As we go to the Octo Box, 7 games here in the early window of week number 16. You got the first place Lions, the first place Eagles, the first place Rams, all in action. And you know what? You love red zone football. We love red zone football. So from this point forward, it's 7 hours of red zone football starts now.
Scott. It's not Scott's fault. See, the phrase used to be 7 hours of commercial-free football starts now, but it's not anymore. Now it's 7 hours of Red Zone football because now Red Zone has commercials.
You know, I tuned in a couple times and I thought, wow, they accidentally played a commercial. They don't usually do that. So that was on purpose.
The NFL sold out.
Wow.
The NFL took the last place of football sacredness and have committed an atrocity, blasphemy against football. And I got to tell you, like, I understand that football is a business. I understand that the NFL exists as a profit-generating enterprise. I understand that owners do not buy teams because they love the team. Owners buy teams to make money off of the team and off of us. I understand that if you want to be a fan of football, you have to accept that and be willing to feed the machine. But there was something for us in the Red Zone. There was something for us with the Red Zone channel. There was something that was just musical to Scott Hanson saying 7 hours of commercial-free football starts now. You had to sacrifice watching your specific team play your specific game, but I think most of us were willing to do that in order to have 7 hours of commercial-free football. I have said it time and time again. In the Rob Brown Show Bro Cave, it is a Bro Cave because all the bros are invited. In the Rob Brown Show Bro Cave on NFL Sunday, there are 5 screens. There is the big screen. There is the slightly smaller big screen. There is the small screen. And there are at least 2 laptops going at any given moment. And I have whatever games I want to watch, except on the slightly smaller screen, which has always been the Red Zone channel. And I have one universal remote that controls both of those TVs, the big screen and the little screen. The Saints go on the big screen. The Red Zone goes on the slightly bigger or the slightly less big screen. And I have the universal remote so that when I push the mute button, the sound flips. So I can just flip between the Saints game and Red Zone back and forth, right? And that used to be great because anytime the Saints went to commercial, I could pop over to the Red Zone, no commercials, right? I'm getting Scott Hanson going. We're going here. We're going to Detroit. We're going to Miami. We're going to San Diego. No, we're not. We're going to Los Angeles, wherever we're going next. And it was always great. And now it's 7. Now I know it's not Scott Hanson's fault because the first week that they did this, which I believe was week 15, maybe 14, but the first week that they did this, somebody put on Twitter, 7 hours of Red Zone football hurts my feelings. And Scott Hanson replied with a crying emoji and a vomiting emoji. So, like, he's obviously not happy about it either. But, like, that was the last bastion, and it has fallen. Now, this is a guy by the name of Dave Anthony. Dave hosts a podcast, and he was talking about baseball, but he had an interesting take that I also really liked.
Baseball is meant to be slow. The reason games are too long, everybody said, is because our lives have become unmanageable and we had no excess time and we were running around constantly. It's just pure capitalism. Like, we are being squeezed for every second of our day. You know, the French go to dinner and they sit there for 4 hours and talk and hang out. We don't do that. We can't even sit through a baseball game anymore that long. That's too long. I got stuff to do. That's the problem with baseball. You're supposed to sit around and be bored and hang out with your friend. And it's literally the hangout sport. You hang out and you watch the game. And it's not always action. You're just sitting there chatting with people and hanging out. Not anymore. You're there to watch a game. Got to get the game. Got to get. It's just, so baseball is now considered long because our lives are.
Yeah, I like that take. I really do. It's time in 2025 for us to sit back and relax and go back to enjoying sports.
So let me get this straight. So the sport that he's talking about is a sport that he goes to not actually watch the sport. He just goes there to hang out with his friends and have conversations.
No, I think.
And every once in a while, look over. Oh, yeah, it's time for a pitch.
I think
and then
this
go back
is.
to. I mean, it's.
I think this is one of those philosophical differences between you and I. you can do both. In fact, I regularly do both. I'm the person who wants to go out to watch games. I want to go watch games with people. I want to go enjoy much. I can still watch the ball and understand what's happening in the ball because I know the ball, but I like being around people. Baseball games are fun with people.
Why don't
especially
you just
baseball.
go to a sports bar? It'd be cheaper for you than paying the money to go to a big ballpark, paying the money to park, paying the extra money to buy food, and then you go there and you don't pay attention to the game? That's
No. See,
ridiculous.
again, I literally just said I have the ability. Maybe it's because I'm a mega mind, but I have the ability to sit and have a conversation with someone.
You also have the
and also pay
ability to
attention to the
believe
game.
that everyone's like you, and they're not.
I'm not saying everyone has to be, but what I'm saying is this whole thing where we're like, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up. No, let's sit back and enjoy the sport. Let's sit back and enjoy what we're watching. It's art. Let's sit back and enjoy the art. All right, I got some more sound. We'll get to it in the next segment. We got a phone call. Let's get to it.
Yes, we have Wayne.
Wayne, it is your world, bro. What you got for us, big dog? Welcome in.
Hey, brother. Thank you. Listen, I'm 60, so I've been around for a lot of it back in the day, and I've been following my Chargers since 74, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that the Chargers-Raiders rivalry is still – I believe that's one that really is still out there. Yesterday's game, game's over with, and the Raiders are still, for no reason, giving it everything. I believe that rivalry is still alive. I was wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah, it's interesting because to me, Wayne, like I feel the Saints-Falcons rivalry is still real, but that's me. I don't know. Yeah. I guess the question would be better formatted, Wayne, if I said, do you feel like the rivalry is real for the players, for the dudes on the field wearing the jerseys and the helmets and the cleats? Yeah. Do you feel like if a guy comes to LA, you pick up a free agent and he comes to LA, does it ingrain in him to the point that the next year when you play the Raiders, that guy goes, yo, bleep the Raiders, and goes out there and gives everything? Because to me, like, if I'm a Saint yesterday out there against the Bucs, a team I do consider a rival, I'm going to bust Mike Evans' ass before he gets that 5 yards, and nobody did.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, it probably is more with the fans, with the Raiders and the Chargers. I know with the fans it is, definitely. But I think even with some of the players, with the Raiders and Chargers, that's just a hated thing. I think a lot of them take pride in the history of it between the Raiders and Chargers, but I don't think, I think maybe 80% of the old rivalries are probably gone, but I think the Chargers and the Raiders still have it on the field with the players. I really do.
That's fair. Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. I will say this, Lonzo, based on the
Raiders are always angry, though, because when's the last time they're good enough to make the playoffs?
I was going to say, based on the responses we have been getting so far from the text line, if rivalries are still alive and well in the NFL, they all involve the Raiders.
Yeah.
All of them. It's Chiefs Raiders, it's Broncos Raiders, it's Chargers Raiders. It's just the rivalries exist in the AFC West and nowhere else, apparently, according to the text line. Are rivalries still real in the NFL? Text 844-326-3663. If you believe they are, text yes. If you believe they are not, rivalries are dead in the NFL, text no. And if you believe there is a rivalry or two left in the NFL, text maybe and include that rivalry in your text. Texter said, fan, there may be some individual player rivalries, but on a team basis, there are no rivalries anymore. Fan rivalry absolutely still exists, but I believe most players and coaches don't participate in team rivalries because they are looking out for their next spot just in case. I don't know. Good question. Texter said, maybe it was rivalry or just last game fun, but Adam, but have Thielen quarterback was fairly petty and also not good. Texter, clarify that for me because I want to give you your credit there. Clarify that for me. Texter said, I couldn't believe at the end of the Bears-Packers game, the boys were hugging afterwards. Rivalries are dead in the NFL. Texter said, maybe I think the NFC East is pretty intense anytime any of them play, specifically the Eagles and the Cowboys, and maybe the Browns and the Steelers. Here's the thing. An Eagle and a Cowboy are doing a podcast together, like in the season. That's not, can I say your rivalry? When Micah Parsons, who's the Eagle, Darius Slay, Micah Parsons and Darius Slay are sitting down for a podcast once a week. Are those guys rivals? I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, we got more calls lined up. 844-326-3663 is the call-in and text-in number. Shoot us your text. Give us a buzz. We'll talk more about this. Get you some more sound from the audio blitz when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. We have not, Trey, and I don't.
Season in Atlanta with a 44-38
Is that a
overtime win
topic
as
worth
they close
bringing
out on a
up
high
on the
note, a
radio? I don't
high-scoring
even know, to
game.
be honest.
I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
It's definitely a topic concerning sports
just
and about
football.
sports.
It's tailgate
talk.
season, and that
So-
includes every kind of football.
I don't.
whether it's got goalkeepers
Genuine
or
question. I don't know how to handle it because like on
Because
one
it doesn't
hand,
matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken
it
and
is
fluffy
sports
buttermilk
adjacent,
biscuits
and
from
that obviously
Bojangles, your tailgate
It's
is
not
better than great.
adjacent.
It's
It's all
legendary.
sports related.
Head to Bojangles.
I mean,
tailgate
none of
box
that, they
with
all
fully
work
seasoned chicken,
in this
fixins,
field.
biscuits,
In
I
and
understand.
blueberry iced
I
tea.
would say it is sports
It's Bojangles.
broadcast. It is not like
Panthers
it has
44,
nothing to
Atlanta
do with
38 in
sports, right?
overtime
Like
to
there's
close
no
out the
players, there's no
season.
teams,
Bryce
there's none of
Young
that.
plays well with
There's an
5
exploit.
touchdowns in
There's
all
an
two
exploit.
for 3 touchdowns, part of
For sure.
251 yards.
But
Also
like
ran
it's
for 2
all
touchdowns, including
broadcast.
this one to give the
Like,
Panthers a lead in
I don't
the fourth
know
quarter.
It's a tight formation. Thielen
what
slot
to
left,
say about
Tremble,
it. I will say
the
this:
tight
if
end.
you
Here's the
want
snap, the
my
fake to Boone. Young backpedal.
if you want my number
rolling
one
to
take
his
on
right. He can
Run
run
it.
for it. He's got
If
the 10. He's got the 5. Bryce.
everything
into
in
end
the
zone,
lawsuit
and
is true.
Carolina
For the
takes
sake of
lead.
conversation,
Count 'em.
if everything
1,
in the lawsuit
2,
is true,
3, 4, 5.
I am
touchdowns
obviously
today for Bryce Young.
Jalen
infuriated
Coker,
at
top
Skip
receiver,
Bayless.
7 catches for 62
I'm
yards.
infuriated at
Running
the
back
I forget
Miles
the guy's
Sanders was
name, but
back
the
in the lineup.
executive
He had
guy
3
that's involved.
catches for 50
I'm
yards.
also really
ran
mad at
for
Joy
66 yards,
because
including
this is the
game-winning
kind of stuff
touchdown
that
in
sets women
overtime.
in
Young
sports
is
back.
under center. Here's the
decades.
snap. Sanders
Honest. Like,
up the
this
middle.
is where
charging through the end
Stone
zone.
Age thinkers
Touchdown, Carolina.
like
the
Jason
Panthers
Whitlock
walk it off
get to climb
end
to the top of their
season.
soapbox and say, "This is why women don't belong in sports."
Tampa Bay
Shut
winning.
up.
They would run
You're
for
a jackass,
227
and you're
yards
wrong.
in the game, though.
I enjoy
Bijan Robinson had
Jason
170
Whitlock.
yards
Whitlock
and 2
sucks.
touchdowns.
He does not
Kansas
suck.
He
finished
just
their
sucks.
season
He
as
should-
the
he-
top
all
dog.
he
does not
is-
suck. He has a
Carolina
has a
Panthers
different
Radio
political
Network
view than
brought
you.
to
It has
so
nothing
you
to
don't
do
like
with
him.
when you say women don't belong in sports talk. That's just a sexist, unnecessary take.
I haven't heard him say that. Can you tell me where that is so I can,
Gladly, because he retweeted it out last night
Okay.
and
All right.
said, "This
All
is
right.
why I
I
feel."
don't know
this
why
way."
you're so angry because you didn't want to talk about this. But
'Cause
now,
that's
now all of a sudden you want to talk about it. So
Because we're not talking about it. We're talking about Jason Whitlock at this point.
no, you shifted it away from that instead of talking about what you were talking about. What the heck?
Oh yeah, I don't know why it does.
Oh
that.
yeah, that's okay. It's still
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
that
Yeah.
recording stuff is off. I thought that was actually part of the thing that was concerning me. This situation is no different than the situations that you see in movies or stuff with big businesses. It happens all the time, supposedly. Just to say more visible thing.
Listen, the whole situation's gross. It's gross from Skip. It's gross from the executive. It's gross from Joy. It's gross from everybody. And again, I have over the years done my best.
Keg bowling is a thing.
Keg bowling?
Where they're bowling with a keg out in the parking lot. I mean, how do you not hit a strike as long as you don't knock people over? It looks like it's in Cincinnati. I'll send it to you. Where's that Cleveland? I can't tell where that is. I sent it to you. It's weird. There was a Beckham Jr. thing. No, it's Cleveland. I guess you would have to put a certain amount of English on the keg to make it spin the way this guy does.
You put English on a keg?
Yeah, well, watch it. It's like 15 seconds. I sent it to you.
Freaking Facebook, dude. Also, how about Elon, Kevin Duranting himself?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Acknowledging that he has a burner that he used to pump himself up all the time. I mean, I guess it's anti-Durant because Durant cut himself up for no reason.
So he could defend himself.
Yeah. Elon used one to pump himself up.
I know some people that I think probably have done the same
I know
thing.
there's a lot of people who do it for sure. See, this is how you know I'm not one because no one says anything nice to me on Twitter.
Caller's gone, by the way.
Okay. Who was it?
Brian.
Okay. You're probably correct, James.
I think the main question is Dwayne in the area.
Dwayne's going to be there.
Because Dwayne just bought more shares in TKO.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
Dwayne's going to be there.
Dwayne is I don't know if he's majority owner.
Dwayne's going to be there, and here's my prognostication. Dwayne takes out Roman, Solo stays Tribal Chief, Rock v. Roman is WrestleMania. Now, my question is, does Cena step in with Solo, against Solo? The Rob Brown Show carries on. It's the Fan Upstate. Brian, if you want to give us a call back, I can get you right up there on the air. We had to go to a break. I apologize for that. Anybody else who wants to jump on the phone line with Brian, 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE is the number to be on the show. It is also a number to text the show, 844-326-3663. If you text the show, we are looking for the answer to this question. Are rivalries dead in the NFL? My answer is yes. And I learned that this weekend. I felt like it was already kind of trending that way. But with Dennis Allen apologizing for scoring a touchdown on our number one rival, the Atlanta Falcons, last year, with the Saints effectively just letting Mike Evans cross the 1,000-yard mark instead of stopping him, that's our number two rival. There was just a lot of that over the last year or two that has brought me to the belief that NFL rivalries are dead. So I want you to answer the question. 844-326-3663. Are rivalries dead in the NFL? Text yes. Text no. Yes, rivalries are dead. No, rivalries are alive. Or if you think there's maybe like one or two rivalries remaining that are worth anything, text maybe and include in that text the rivalry that you believe is still good to go. 844-326-3663 is the number if you want to get involved in that conversation. All right. Got some more sound that I wanted to get for you here on the show this AM. Let's go with have you seen this this Tyreek Hill story? So after the game, and not even after the game yesterday, the Miami Dolphins were fighting for a chance to potentially make the playoffs. Had Denver lost to the Chiefs, Miami beaten the Jets, Miami would have gone to the playoffs. Cincinnati needed both those teams to win to get in. Oh, Lonzo. I mean, at this point, I'm just excited to hear it. I mean, I'm not excited for what we're about. I mean, I'm not excited for that guy. But it's also that's the expected one, right? Breaking news. Breaking news brought to you by BetQL. Be a better, be smarter, and beat the books with BetQL. And don't forget to listen to Bet for the Cycle every Saturday from noon to 4 with me, Rob Brown, and former Major League Baseball player Cody Decker. Noon to 4 every Saturday on the BetQL network. It is Bet for the Cycle. Doug Peterson is out as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is no más.
Surprise.
Yeah, this is, if we were power ranking, but in reverse head coaches, like Doug Peterson's towards the top of that list.
You're going to blame this on Urban Meyer too?
No, this one's Doug Peterson ain't it. And again, I will say this, if they go get one more guy and it's the exact same results, then maybe it comes a point where we blame the owner. Maybe there is a point where we have to admit it just ain't Trevor Lawrence. But I'm not ready to put it on him just yet.
Just blame the running back.
Just any Clemson guy we can get our
Why
hands
not?
on. Huh?
Why not? Why not?
Just any Clemson guy we
You
can
got
get
a
our
couple
hands
to
on.
choose from there.
I don't know about that. I don't think I'm quite ready to go that far. I am willing to go as far as Doug Peterson clearly wasn't it. Just clearly wasn't it.
So who else is on the list that you think is going to be let go today?
Coaches most likely to be fired today. Peterson was at the top of the list. I would say, who else is definitively getting fired today? I don't think Antonio Pierce. I think he's a threat. Does Mike McCarthy get the can today? Does Mike McCarthy here? By the way, and I asked this on Saturday. This was really interesting. Mike McCarthy has emerged hilariously as a leading, not the lead, but as a leading candidate in the Bears head coaching job and the Saints head coaching job. Mike McCarthy has worked with Mickey Loomis before. Apparently, Mickey Loomis, who you want to talk about a fall from grace. Mickey Loomis organized and orchestrated a New Orleans Saints team that was a dominant force in the NFC South for like 12 years, and now everybody in New Orleans wants him gone because what are we doing? Because what are we doing, right? He promoted Dennis Allen. What are we doing? Apparently, Mickey Loomis wants to hire a head coach who will keep all of the assistant coaches in their roles right now. He's like, yeah, well, everything's great except the head coach. So we want to hire a new head coach, but keep all our assistant coaches. And apparently, they believe Mike McCarthy's a guy who will let them do that. So Mike McCarthy is now a leading candidate for the head coaching job in New Orleans. I'm going to throw up. But Mike McCarthy, hilariously, is the leading head coach. And for the record, I thought about this a lot because Saturday when it broke, I was like, what? Come on, dude. But the more I think about it, the more I think I maybe have to give Mike McCarthy a little grace because he works for Jerry Jones. You know what I mean? Like, there are how many coaches that we have said, you know, this coach probably ain't that bad, but we got him working for a GM that just doesn't get it, right? Scott Fitterer at Carolina, right? I mean, maybe Matt Rule's better if Fitty wasn't his GM. I doubt it. I think he was just a dork that worked great at the college level, but not the NFL. But maybe things are different. I'll tell you right now, does Dan Morgan's roster building not feel a little different this year, especially in the back half of the year, than Fitterer's did? I mean, it does to me. So, like, maybe Mike McCarthy gets a little grace because Jerry Jones is good at being an owner, bad at being a GM. Do we give him any credit for that? If Mike McCarthy gets fired, do you roll the dice on a guy that kept getting Dallas close, but was also asked to come into this year with Ezekiel, we already cut him once, Elliott, as his number, who replaced Tony Pollard, by the way? What a step down. That team has basically been Dak and CeeDee Lamb, by the way. And you want to, here's another reason. Maybe we give Mike McCarthy some grace. Did you see what they did to Cooper Rush yesterday? This is infuriating. Cooper Rush, if he played 55% of the Dallas Cowboys snaps as the starter, if he played 55%, he was due a $500,000 bonus. He went into that game with 52% of the snaps played, which meant that Cooper Rush, if he had a good day and they played, with extended drives, long possessions, yada, yada, yada. If he came into that and had a good day, Cooper Rush could have made $500,000. So they started Trey Lance and screwed Coop out of $250,000. Now, maybe $250,000 ain't that much when Mike Evans is getting handed a $3 million check. But Cooper Rush is going to be a career backup quarterback. $250,000 is a lot of money for that cat. And so they decide going into week 18, after they've been eliminated from the playoffs for weeks now, they decide, no, we're going to save that $250,000 and we're going to play Trey Lance, who, by the way, looked atrocious, looked awful. You've been on the bench learning this offense all year, dog. You got to be ready. And he wasn't ready. When Jerry Jones is out here actively screwing players who stepped into roles to bail him out, maybe we give Mike McCarthy a little grace. Maybe we give him a little credit. Darren Rizzi will not be the Saints head coach. Obviously, Thomas Brown will not be the Bears head coach. Jeff Ulbrich will not be the Jets head coach. I think McCarthy is probably out. Daboll's out with the Giants. Peterson's already out with the Jags. That's recent. Mayo's out with the Patriots. Maybe Antonio Pierce with the Raiders. Do you fire him with all that's gone on? I don't know. They were all excited to get him, and then it's meh. I don't know. Like Monday rolls on. We'll keep you abreast of everything. John Blau with the Post and Courier talks Clemson sports with us next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, we're going to step out for just a minute and get John Blau lined up. Y'all stay right there. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate Black Monday across the National Football League. We have 2 head coaches out so far. Gerard Mayo of the Patriots canned yesterday. Doug Peterson of the Jacksonville Jaguars was let go just a few minutes ago. We are keeping an eye on the breaking news ticker for you for when and if we find out of more coaching vacancies that pop open between here and 10 o'clock. But it is Monday. It is just about 8:40 in the a.m., and that means we welcome into the show a young man who covers the Clemson Tiger athletic department for the Post and Courier. John Blau joins the program to talk some CU Tigers with us. John, how we doing, big fella? Happy Monday.
Hey, Rob, how are you?
Very well, except for it's our first week in like a month that I have to work all 5 days this week, and that's a little bit of a bummer, but we'll get through it.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Do what we can.
Yes, we do. All right, big dog. Let's get into some Clemson sports. We won't spend a ton of time on it, but it has been reported that Clemson has officially told Wes Goodwin that he will not return as the defensive coordinator, though I have seen it worded a couple of ways that I guess leave the door open for Wes Goodwin to remain with the program if he would like to. I'm not really sure if that's the way this has been structured and formatted or not. What's the most recent update you've got for us on the Wes Goodwin story?
Yeah, we're still waiting for official word from Clemson, but it obviously leaked out, like you said last week, that he was told that he's not returning in that position. Whether that means that, I think there's been some rumors that maybe Brent Venables at Oklahoma might be interested in getting him a job, or he goes somewhere else, or it ends up just being he's let go completely. Either way, he's not coming back as a defensive coordinator. I think it's Larry Williams at Tiger Illustrated. I saw that he reported the possibility that Wes Goodwin was open to coming back as an analyst. Obviously, it was a remarkable promotion when he was promoted in late 2021 from analyst straight to defensive coordinator with no position coaching experience and no play calling experience. But so he's the type of guy that might be open to, hey, you gave me the chance, it didn't work out, I'll go back to being an analyst. That might be something that is possible too. So yeah, the wording has been a little, people have been careful in terms of trying how they're wording it, because we don't really know exactly, because Clemson has not clarified, but I would think in the next day or two, we will have official clarification on what's going on there.
It is interesting in that this is now 2 coordinators after the departures of Tony Elliott and Brent Venables. Both of the inside hires that Dabo Swinney has made on both sides of the football did not work out. And listen, I'm not gonna crack on Dabo. That's just kind of how football works. I mean, if you hit on a guy that has production and development and works out, that guy usually is getting elevated to a head coaching position relatively quickly. Welcome to the competitive world of college football. The rumor I've heard, John Blau, and I know there's still a lot of rumor and innuendo floating around this, though, is that Dabo's been looking outside of the program, maybe for somebody that's been in a similar role at a big-time university, has some experience to fill in that position, and that he may go outside of the program to find the next DC. You partner that with the fact that he's gotten 2 now transfer portal players in. And I know you made a great point last week, which is it ain't been for a lack of effort that Dabo Swinney just got his first transfer portal players. It's just none of them is signed before this. But my question is, does this signify some sort of turning point for Dabo Swinney and his philosophy with the program, or is it probably still too early to know that for sure?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a change in philosophy, because if you look back, obviously Tony Elliott was replaced by Brandon Streeter. He gave an in-person or in-house hire a chance, and then it didn't work out, and then he went and got Garrett Riley. It might be similar here with Wes Goodwin, where, again, I gave my guy a chance, a guy who was in the building, who had put in the work. I gave him a chance, and then I go outside the building. So, I mean, he's done both in his time at Clemson. You know, he obviously is a very loyal guy. He believes in people. He not only believes in having a developmental program with players, but also developing coaches. And he tries to foster those relationships. And so I don't know if Dabo's ever going to change that way. I mean, I think he's always going to be very loyal to his players, to his coaches. But at the same time, I don't think he's so loyal to a fault that he's not going to make an outside hire, or like we talked about with transfers, look at offensive line, even though they don't come through, and then now look at defensive end, a couple of edge guys, even because there's reports of another linebacker / edge, Jeremiah Alexander at Alabama, who they recruited out of high school. He's in the transfer portal. He might be another guy they're targeting. So, I don't know if the full change. I think maybe he's making little teeny tiny steps in a certain direction. But I think it's always been kind of that way in terms of it, and will remain that way in terms of him having loyalty to people that are in his building.
John Blau with the Post and Courier joins us every Monday at 8:40 to talk Clemson athletics, talking a little football. We'll flip it over to basketball here in just a moment from now. The move of Wes Goodwin is obviously very interesting timing wise, as obviously Wes's defense has kind of taken a step back a couple of years in a row. Is this a metric of just performance, John Blau, or is this perhaps a moment where Dabo Swinney's recognizing, like, we're not out of the big boys equation here, but we can't let ourselves slip too much further, and that was the trigger for the change?
I mean, I think it could be a combination of those things. But when you look at the offense a couple years ago with Garrett Riley, he had a very specific idea in mind that we just need to be able to stop the pass, and we need to be able to pass the ball better, and this guy will help us do that better. And he thought that they would have a chance to get back to the playoffs if they did that. Obviously, it didn't happen immediately. It took a couple of years for Garrett Riley to get that offense turned around, especially with a first-year quarterback. But yeah, no, I think there's a little bit of urgency with this move as well. I mean, you look at what they have now coming back on offense. Cade Klubnik coming back, all of his top receivers coming back, 4 out of 5 on the offensive line coming back. You have a chance to be a really good offense. You don't want to have a bunch of 38-31 shootouts if the defense continues to regress. So it's definitely trying to keep the standard at a certain place. They didn't meet the standard. They have too many 4- and 5-star talents on the defensive side of the ball for them to be playing the way they're playing, with just a lack of discipline, gap integrity, just giving up big plays, not able to hold an edge, things like that. So, yeah, this is just, trying to hold to a certain place and obviously take advantage of an opportunity with an offense that could be great next year. You just can't have a defense that's lagging behind. So I don't know if it's, purely because of just kind of the circumstance and all that. I think obviously if you're Clemson and you've been in an elite program and you spend a lot of money on coaches and a lot of has been invested in trying to be an elite program, you obviously make the moves you have to keep it there. And that's what they're doing here at defensive coordinator.
We're talking to John Blau from the Post and Courier here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Let's flip it over to the Shooty Hoops here for just a second. John Blau, Clemson had a couple of losses back-to-back, a close one against a pretty good Memphis Tiger team, and then obviously a roadie out to Columbia that they dropped by 3 to the Gamecocks. Since then, a 3-game win streak in conference. They get 3 straight home wins over Wake Forest, Stanford, and Cal, despite Cal having Stojakovic go off in this game for 30. If I asked you for kind of the 36,000-foot view of what we're seeing out of Clemson basketball before we dive into the specifics that define the early portion of 2024-25, what would you say they are?
Pretty good defensively. I think Jaden Zachary, the guard from Boston College, he's really turned out to be the perimeter defender that they've really been looking for the last couple of years. They can, press a guy full court, get right up in somebody's nose. Just a game changer there in terms of kind of what they have defensively. And then Victor Locken, the big man from Cincy, playing through illness, but being a post presence, really making, just scrappy plays, just a lot of energy, passion. They have a lot of guys they brought into the mix that have really gelled together probably more quickly than anybody would have thought, that have really been able to kind of up the defensive, just continuity, the effort, the just absolute physicality that they bring, that has made it made them a really tough team to beat. Even if they're not having the best shooting night in the world, they can win games on the defensive end of the floor. And I think that's really what's carried them through thus far in this 4-0 start in ACC play.
I think one of the things that jumps out, at least about this game against a 7-7 Cal team, is that Clemson shot 62%, 31 of 50 from the floor, and 44%, above 44% from the three-point line. Was this an anomaly, or is this the indication that Clemson's going to play a more, maybe a little less exciting but more efficient offense this year?
Yeah, I mean, they certainly have guys who would score. Obviously, Chase Hunter is a totally different player than he was 3 years ago. Just a very mature guy. I think I saw somebody tweet about like Chase Hunter just figured out he could just dunk everything. And he had 4 or 5 dunks in that game against Cal. He's an athletic guy. He's able to finish on stuff like that. And they have, Ian Shefflin is a mature guy. Dylan Hunter's got a lot better. His shot has improved a ton. They have a bunch of guys who can score, but they are a little streaky, I would say, in that way. They're going to have nights where they come out and they hit, 4 out of their first 16 shots. I mean, it's just going to be this team. And again, that's why I go back to the defensive end of the floor. I really do think that's where they are the most solid, or exceptional, maybe even should be the word. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely a team that has that potential to shoot and be able to make shots. It's just about whether, it ever becomes, like you said, incredibly efficient, consistent. That's going to be something, I guess, to watch the rest of the season.
John Blau from the Post and Courier joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Looking ahead from these games, a couple of interesting ones coming up. You're on the road. First ACC road test at Louisville tomorrow evening. You turn it around and come back to the crib on January 11th against a Florida State team that's not what they were a couple of years ago, John Blau, but also gave Syracuse a run for the money and actually stole a dub away from the Orange a couple of days ago. Not a Florida State team to be looked past. If you have a bad day, they'll get you. So what's the direction for Clemson in these next couple of games, which I think are kind of tone setter games for this team about what they are going to be as we dig into the meat and potatoes of the season?
Yeah, because obviously you're going back on the road. They had one road win at Miami, but Miami's had a really, really down year this year. And Louisville is a team that's trending in the right direction. Obviously, Pat Kelsey, the former College of Charleston coach, he brought a bunch of transfers. This is a much better Louisville team than Clemson's seen over the last couple of years. And obviously Clemson lost a game to a not so good Louisville team a couple of years ago that really hurt their NCAA tournament resume, ended up not making the field. So yeah, it's a very important game. Finally, again, going on the road against a good opponent. And like you said, coming back home, Florida State, Leonard Hamilton, one of the more experienced coaches in the league. I know he's had a couple issues lately with the NIL front in terms of players saying they were promised money and yada, yada, yada. But obviously he's not gone away, and his whole roster has not gone away either. And so they're still pretty, athletic, pretty talented as always. So yeah, this is an interesting stretch. And then you got Georgia Tech with Dana Stoudemire and Nathan George and a bunch of talented guys there as well. So yeah, no, it doesn't let up. I mean, this is a pretty good ACC. I know it's obviously not judged as top tier elite if you look at the net rankings and kind of just the narrative, but there's a lot of teams that can beat you. And obviously Clemson can't take too much of a breather. They could get knocked off.
John Blau covers the Clemson Tigers for the Post and Courier. Joins us every Monday at 8:40 a.m. to talk Tiger athletics. John, my man, thanks for the time. As always, big dog. We will check back in with you next week, pal.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rob.
Done and done. John Blau for the Post and Courier.
All right, I'm not playing the other one because this is the opposite of a firing.
Somebody's hired already.
According to Adam Schefter, the New York Giants have put out a statement. Now that our season is over, we felt it necessary to make this statement. Joe, I think you said Sheen is his name? Shine, yep. Shone, whatever his name is, and Brian Daboll will continue in their respective roles with the organization. As disappointing as the results of the season have been, Steve Tisch and I remain confident in the process that Joe and Brian have implemented and their visions for our team. We look forward to the future and achieving the results we all desire.
Oh, no. Welfare check on Chris Lewis. Chris Lewis, president of the Greenville Triumph, noted and enormous New York Giants fan, I'm going to need you to check in right now. That's very painful. You know how the thing was a week ago, we were all making fun of Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets. The reason he didn't go get Jerry Jeudy, who was balling out for Cleveland, was because his kids said his Madden rating isn't good enough. You remember that story from last week?
It's very important.
Yeah, here's Hard Knocks. Here's Joe Shine talking to his kids leading up to the draft.
He's wearing green.
Who do you want me to take? Give me a name.
Jaden Daniels. Trade up and get him. Why not?
Okay, if Jaden Daniels.
You only get this job once. I'm trying to win.
All right. Jaden Daniels. Carson wants Jaden Daniels. If he's not there, who's your second? Because he's not going to be there.
Drake May or Marvin Harrison on the league neighbors. Can't mess.
I'm just looking at who looks like they would be a good quarterback.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels! Yes! Joe Shine's kid's a better GM than Joe Shine!
By the way, the backup plan wasn't too bad either if you couldn't get
Malik
Jaden Daniels.
Neighbors!
And then he also said Marvin Harrison
Yeah.
Jr. So,
Pretty good list.
Yeah, it was.
Pretty good list. Whoa. I'm sorry. Was that not good enough? Here's Brian Dable talking about a conversation he had before the draft with Nick Saban.
The last couple of years, give me the guys in this draft, your top three. He's like, there's two skill guys that are problems. And they were problems when we played them, big time problems. First one is Malik. He went off on him. And then Bowers was the other one. He's like, guys are problems.
Yeah. Nick Saban said, get Malik or get Brock Bowers. And Joe Shine's children said Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Marvin Harrison Jr. There's 5 guys right there that the GM and the head coach got told by everybody else. These dudes, when Nick Saban says a guy is a problem, when Nick Saban says a guy's a problem, you should probably listen to Nick Saban. Probably listen to the guy. Joe Shine's kids were like, hey, here's the list. Here's the guys. Get up and go get them. Make it happen. The Jets with pick number 11 went and got Olu Fashanu, an offensive tackle out of Penn State. And it's a fine pick. It's a fine pick. He was one of the best tackles out there. The best off the board already were Joe Alt and J.C. Latham. Really the only two guys that I'm like, if that guy falls to you, got to get him. Olu Fashanu was like a fine pick at 11. Guess who went next? Bo Nix. Guess who went next? Brock Bowers. Guess who went next? Diet Oos Talise Fuaga, who was balling for the Saints. Jared Verse went 8 picks later. Jared Verse has been a revelation for the LA Rams. Brian Thomas Jr. went to Jacksonville. If Malik Neighbors wasn't an LSU Tiger, Brian Thomas Jr. would have been in the top 10. He's that good. Terrion Arnold went to Detroit. He was a baller till he got banged up last night. Xavier Worthy went off the board 17 picks later to the Kansas City Chiefs. Would have been really nice if they took him in that spot. Ricky Pearsall went 31st, has been balling out. They went with a second-round offensive tackle in Olu Fashanu when Joe Shine's kid was like, yo, Jaden Daniels is Malik Neighbors. They're all right there. Marvin Harrison Jr. right there. Nick Saban went, yeah, I'd get Malik or Brock Bowers. And the Giants went, nah, let's get that offensive tackle out of Penn State. Good gosh. Chris Lewis, my thoughts are with you, especially if you are thinking about finding a new team to root for. I root for Team Lonzo.
As you should. We always win. The NFC North and the NFC's number 1 overall seed belong to the Detroit Lions. After a 31-9 win over the Minnesota Vikings last night, Detroit capitalized on the kick out of bounds with 15 seconds left in the first half, take a 10-6 lead. And Jahmyr Gibbs' 3 rushing and 1 receiving touchdown night put Minnesota away. Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold recorded only 166 passing yards, and the Vikings scored 0 touchdowns. Week 1 of the NFL playoffs are scheduled. The wild card round kicks off next Saturday when the Chargers visit the Texans at 4:30 and the Steelers take on Baltimore at 8. On Sunday, the Broncos visit the Bills. The Packers travel to Philadelphia. And Tampa Bay hosts Washington Monday night. The Vikings take on the Rams in L.A. Tune in Wednesday at 6:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus Citadel right here on your home for Furman basketball. The Fan, upstate.
Attention small business owners needing financing. Are you frustrated with a slow process and high interest rate quotes from your bank? Then you need Swish Funding, the small business funding experts, where our simple application process takes just minutes with affordable funding as soon as one business day. At Swish Funding, we focus on your business cash flow, not your personal credit score. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $2 million. If you've been in business for 1 year or more with a monthly income of at least $25,000, you can get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. Swish Funding is providing funds for expansion, inventory, increased overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America. Restaurants, plumbing, landscaping, trucking, auto body shops, healthcare providers, and more are getting the funds.
By the way, Zach, they talked about that at the beginning of the interview. If you go back and listen to the beginning of the interview, which you can do on chapters, by the way, just check out the last chapter. I believe John said there's a possibility of Brent Venables coming back. So it was addressed at the beginning of that interview.
I would be happy with Aaron Glenn. That Lions defense and what they did this year with so many injuries and still winning the 1 seed is impressive. I'd be very happy with Aaron Glenn.
You want another defensive guy?
Yes. If it's Aaron Glenn. I would also like to hope and think that they will have learned that. I mean, here's the thing. Clint Kubiak, as offensive coordinator, was not bad this year.
I don't know if this is real or not, but someone put up Marvin Harrison Sr.'s rookie year. He went 64 catches, 836 yards, and 8 TDs. Junior went 63 catches, 885 yards, and 8 TDs.
I wonder if they talk smack to each other at the house.
Why? It's very similar. Same amount of touchdowns, one less catch for Marvin Harrison Jr., and about 50 more yards. That's genetic consistency is what that is.
I'm a genetic freak.
Did a story Saturday. Someone did a ride share and they thought they left stuff in the car.
Yeah.
So they went back in with a flashlight and they found an urn.
In the car?
Yeah. And so the guy immediately gave it to his mom so she could figure out whose it was.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I just. Would you leave the urn there, or would you grab it when you grabbed your stuff?
I mean, I
Or would
think
you
I'd
say,
ask
"Hey,
the
ride
Uber
share
driver
person,
first, right?
Someone left their urn back
Hey,
here."
there's a dead guy back here.
Yeah, I'm not. Or would you get mad that you were riding around with a dead guy?
I don't care about it. I think it'd be in a weird way. Like,
Maybe that would
I'm
bother some
morbid.
people.
The Rob Brown Show. Final hour goes now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. Welcome in. Great to have you. Hope you're well. I am Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, is on the other side of the glass, running the ones and twos. We are keeping an eye on the NFL Black Monday. We have some stories. Gerard Mayo fired by the Patriots yesterday. Doug Peterson fired by the Jags already this morning. We are also waiting for some other teams. Brian Daboll and Joe Shine of the Giants will remain in their positions as the HC and as the GM because LOL, I guess, is the I got nothing. I've got nothing. So we'll see how that plays out. Moving on through the rest of the day. If we get any more news stories in the last hour of the show, we will obviously break them for you as they are broken to us. So make sure that you stay tuned to the show for the next 56 and a half minutes as we watch The Wire, like The Wire 2 Wire, like our brand new-ish local show with Diesel and Cole Bryson that airs every afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m.
Brand newish.
Brand newish.
Well, it's
not
radio.
brand new.
In radio terms, they're still brand new.
Yeah.
They got to make it like we just got rid of the brand new show.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Rob Brown Show was brand new for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I think you're brand new until there is a new show on the
Well,
station.
we
right?
also jumped time slots 3 times.
Yeah, that's
So,
also true. I mean, every show was in its brand new time slot, and we were just like, what if we just didn't say time slot? We said just brand new. And we did for like 3.5 years. I was brand new to the station. You know what it really was? I think it was other people at the station going, well, if we don't call him brand new, then he's not the new guy anymore. If he's not the new guy anymore, we can't make him do all the stuff. That's what it was.
You think so?
I think it was. It's a conspiracy theory.
Does Cole have to do all the stuff since he's the new guy?
Cole technically has been here longer than me. In different roles, different capacities. But
yeah, according to
technically.
me and him had that conversation. I was like, yeah, but here's the thing. You work 2 days a week and then you left for 2 years. It doesn't count.
By the way, I am being informed, and I will verify this right now at this point in time, but I'm being informed that let's see, Clemson football, there's the football account on the X. Yes, they have officially announced via a tweeted out press release 4 minutes ago that Dabo Swinney announced that Wes Goodwin will not return to Clemson's coaching staff for the 2025 season. So he is out entirely. Dabo said, quote, after meeting with Coach Goodwin on Sunday evening, I have decided to make a change in our defensive coordinator position. I want to thank Wes for his character, commitment, leadership, and dedication, as well as the relentless work ethic with which he approached the job every day. Wes has been a part of our program for 13 to the past 16 years, and he played an instrumental part in all of our success. I love Wes and his family and wish him all the best as he continues his journey. I know he has a bright future ahead. I will start the interview process immediately and hope to have our new defensive coordinator named by the end of this month or sooner. Our staff has been hard at work on our roster, and we look forward to solidifying our defensive coordinator position to help lead this extremely talented group as we pursue our goals in 2025. So Wes Goodwin officially out, and I think that's the right call. Respectfully, I think it's the right call. The defense got exponentially and empirically worse during the years,
which is what a lot of people thought would happen immediately following Brent Venables leaving. But his guys were still there and still playing for him. And once those guys graduated, then you started to see a decline, I think.
Yes, I think that is correct. I think you effectively got to a point where when the defense gets worse, as it did. And we can say it's because Brent Venables left. We can say it's because there was not enough growth in the talent because Dabo didn't use the portal. You can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. At the end of the day, the defense got progressively worse. And, my question mark, and I asked this of John Blau with the Post and Courier in the last segment, and I respect John's take and opinion, or else I wouldn't have him on the show, obviously. I said, John, is this when you combine this with the fact that Dabo's gone into the portal, is this an indicator that the philosophy is changing? Is this an indicator that the philosophy of one Dabo Swinney is changing a little bit? Is this an indicator that Dabo Swinney is looking at what is happening in the program and that he's got to kind of get with the times a little bit? And John said, it's probably too early to tell, right? Like we got to keep an eye on this. We've got to keep an eye on what this means. And I think that's fair, right? John Blau also, I give him credit for it last week. He made an exceptional point. Because we had him on last week. He said, hey, look, Dabo just got 2 guys out of the transfer portal. Is this a shift in philosophy? And he said, well, hang on. He said, let's not forget, let's also point out here that Dabo's made offers to portal guys before. They just ultimately did not sign with Clemson. He said this is not the first time that he has offered guys out of the portal. It's just the first time they've accepted. And I think that's a fair point to hang on to, right? That's a fair point to lean into, is that he's made the play. And he's said from the beginning, I'm going to go get guys that I think help us be better. I'm going to go get guys that I think fit the program and help the program and that I think make the roster better. And we've all kind of bagged him for not using the portal. And again, it's fair. He hasn't, right? Whether it's for a lack of desire to, a lack of offers, a lack of kids wanting to commit out of the portal, whatever the reason is, the reality is the portal usage just wasn't there. And because of that, I think there's rightly been criticism. But with that criticism, I think you take the context of where we are in Clemson football, and I go, for whatever reason, the defense has taken a step back for 3 consecutive years now. It has gotten statistically, empirically worse for 3 consecutive years. And I think for a lot of people, it would be very easy to go, wait a minute. We won the conference. Wait a minute. We were in the playoffs. And my question is, and I've said this at the beginning of the season, I'll say it now. My question is that good enough for you? Is that good enough for you? Is being in the playoffs good enough? Is that the ultimate goal? Just get to the playoffs. And then we'll say, I am going to say I hope not. I am going to say that I hope not. I am hoping that your aspirations are a little bit higher, because if you ain't aiming at the top, you're never going to get there. That's just how it goes. But I am going to say, and we'll keep an eye on this because this is, from me, opinion and speculation at its finest. But opinion and speculation. I have to think that this is Dabo Swinney doing what we have asked to do in a while. Get with the times. Run your program like a modern era college football program. Be in the portal. Even if there's not guys that you love as Clemson guys, if you can get in there and enhance your NIL collective, enhance their competitiveness, if you can get in there and make the school more attractive via compensation or whatever else, if you can get in there and get talent, even if they're not diehard in the wool Clemson guys, if you can get talent that can come help you win, then do it. And on the flip side, because again, one of the bigger criticisms for a very long time has been that Dabo is so loyal to his guys, to a fault, perhaps. To a fault. If Dabo is going to promote from within, is going to bring guys up from within, there has to be some level of acknowledgement. There has to be some level of understanding that if they don't work out, you got to move on to the next level. If they don't work out, you've got to be willing to let one of your guys go. If they don't work out, you have got to be able to look at one of your cats that you brought up and say, I'm sorry, it's not working out. And I'm not saying that's what this is. But it kind of feels that way, right? Like it kind of feels that way. It kind of feels like this is that spot. It kind of feels like this is the spot where this team, or this head coach, I should say, it kind of feels like this is a spot where this head coach is looking and going, yeah, this can't be it. This can't be it. We can't, this can't be our level. So I will say that I will feel more validated. I will feel more solidified in that take, depending on who the replacement hire is going to be. If Dabo goes out there and he goes and finds a guy, because again, there may be, and I could be wrong, there may be a guy on this Clemson staff that would step up and be him, right? Would be that guy. There have been some rumors that there is already the guy that is in the conversation to step up into that role. There is discussion that there are some guys in position coaches that might end up being him. I don't know who that would be. Is it Nick Eason? Is it Mikey Kahn? Is it Chris Rumph? I don't know. And I'm not really willing to take a stab at it yet. What I will say is if he goes out as the discussion is taking place right now, if he goes out and he gets a guy from somewhere else, if he goes out and gets a guy that has experience, if he goes out and he gets a guy that understands the role, has acted in the role, has performed the role, and has done so with success and at a high level, as opposed to just handing the job to the next Dabo guy, then I think at that point I'd feel pretty comfortable saying that's a step in the right direction. That's a step to it. That's a step towards what I think is the right direction, which is running a modern and contemporary college football program. That's a step in the direction that I think Dabo needs to be going in, which is running a football program designed to succeed in 2025, not a football program designed to succeed in 2013. And I think that's where you kind of, at this point, have to be. So we'll see. I'm interested to see what the hire is. I'm interested to see what the next step is, who the next guy is, and if the next guy is the guy from outside the program, then I think at that point we say, okay, Dabo is willing to, at this point, start running his program like a modern college football program. And if it's just another guy from within, I will give him the chance to succeed. I will give him the chance to thrive. I will give him the chance to be the guy at DC as a Dabo guy. But if it doesn't work out again, if he misses again, then I think at that point we'll genuinely be having a discussion. To me, I think I'm at a point where I would look at this program and go, if the hire comes from within, then you have a problem, right? There may be somebody you love, somebody you think is qualified that's on the staff right now to step in and take over that role. There may be a guy out there right now that you are already in love with that is on the program. And if that's the route he decides to go in, so be it. But if you take that shot, if you take that swing, if you bring somebody from within the program and elevate them to that role and they fail as well, now we've got an uncomfortable conversation to have, I think. But we'll see how it plays out. All right, when we come back here, I got a few more short stories to run through and give some thoughts on. We'll do that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Look at what I just said. You will appreciate it.
Are you telling me or you will appreciate it?
Yes, I'm telling you.
Immense respect. Immense respect. That is.
It's dedication right
yes,
there.
It is. You're like 15 feet away from Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie talking.
Well, the question is, was that a setup or was he really doing that?
Oh, the way he said that phone
Well, considering who it is, he probably was really doing that. It's a sports guy thing. That's what you do when you're.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that. 100%. I'm
a little more subtle.
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, which is all of you, there is a video that Kristen Bell, who is married to Dax Shepard. Dax Shepard. They were at the Golden Globes last night, and Dax Shepard, Kristen Bell is filming Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie presenting something, and she turns, and Dax is sitting there with his head down, and then she goes down, and he's got the Lions game on his cell phone at the Golden Globes watching it, because that's a football guy is what that is. That's a football guy. And I have been guilty of that plenty of times.
Yeah, that was asked about earlier, Zach. We've talked about it some off the air, talked about it some on the stream, but not too much. What is kind of interesting about this situation is when something like that comes out, and suddenly other people come out talking about the Joy Taylor thing.
Oh yeah.
Suddenly, other stories come out about other places.
I mean, sometimes it takes some, because I mean, think about it. If you come out with that and it's not proven, people will hold that against you. And in this career, which is so cutthroat, and there's always the next guy or gal up. Sometimes it takes one person to have the stones to tell the story for other people to go, yep, that same guy or gal did that to me too.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece.
Here's the thing, Zach, and I don't know if it's just my X feed, but my X feed is more about Joy Taylor than it is Skip Bayless.
That's the other part is, like, don't get me wrong, what Joy did is harmful to women in the sports blogosphere. And as somebody who is attempted to use my platform for years to provide a space for women in sports to be able to talk about sports in a sports environment, that is very frustrating.
Way to say sports that many times in that little bit.
I mean, that's the focus here.
That was amazing. Not making light of the situation, but that could have been a wire-to-wire promo. I don't know why. The Tolo thing bothers me. I don't know why it bothers me. Maybe I'm just old, but it just bothers me. This feels like a label. I don't label anybody.
I mean, we call ours the Armada. Got about 20 minutes left in our poll question of the day. Are NFL rivalries dead? That's the question we have asked you today. Are NFL rivalries dead? Again, because I am me, I have made it all about myself. Last year, at the end of the year, the New Orleans Saints offense was told to take a knee. Instead, they called their own play and scored with Jamal Williams. Dennis Allen came out and apologized to rival number one, the Atlanta Falcons. Then, yesterday, the Saints on the road down at Tampa Bay, Mike Evans needed 5 yards after the game had already been determined. Mike Evans needed 5 yards to get to 1,000 yards, and the Saints just let him have it. They just let him have the 5 yards. They just played soft defense and let him have it. Whereas I said, if I was Coach Riz in that spot, I would have had every defensive back on the field, all of them in man-to-man coverage, on Mike Evans. I'd have had 5 guys in Mike's face. If he gets 5 yards, you're all cut. If he gets 5 yards, you're all off this team. Do you want in or not? I'd have taken Honey Badger off the IR in the moment and dressed him out and put him out there, right? That to me is what a rivalry is. And I feel like rivalries are dead in the NFL. So that's our text poll question of the day. 844-326-3663 is the number to text the show. 844-326-3663. Are rivalries dead in the NFL? Text yes, text no, or text maybe if you think there is like one good rivalry left. And if so, text maybe and a rivalry you think is still alive. If you think there's like one rivalry left, text maybe and that rivalry. So 844-326-3663. If you think rivalries are still alive in the NFL, text yes. If you think rivalries are dead in the NFL, text no. And if you think there is a rivalry, maybe 2 in the NFL, text maybe and tag your rivalry that you think still matters, but it's like the last of a dying breed. That's our text line poll of the day. Here is Dave Canales when asked if Bryce Young has done enough to be the assumed QB1 heading into next year.
It's huge. It's a great feeling. It allows us to just look at the whole roster, to see what the investments need to be. It helps us to think about free agency and the draft with the lens, knowing we got our guy. And now we can just build this team with the right mentality, and just, find the guys that can come in and challenge our roster like we plan on doing every year.
He sounds nervous and maybe just doesn't like talking in front of people it just sounds nervous.
Well, in fairness, relativity matters, Lonzo, and you work with a master of the microphone on a daily basis. Not everybody's got what I got. Okay. Not everybody's got the gift of the gab.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Diesel.
Obviously. Not everybody's got the gift of the gab. Not everybody's got the blessing of the bull.
I think he sounds extremely nerdy. Maybe that's part of it.
Hey, Sean McVay, Mike McDaniel, the nerds are taking over, baby. Analytics guys are taking over, baby.
Really? How many Super Bowls have they won lately?
McVay's got one.
Yeah, I said lately.
McVay's got one in my lifetime. That's a short period of time.
His Chunky Soup commercials were
pretty good.
Amazing.
Pretty good. Dave Canales says that he is super stoked about the rebound of one BY because it lets you look at the other spots on the roster. If you got to find a quarterback, that's all you can think about. Because once you get a quarterback, as the Carolina Panthers are the premier illustration of, you got to build around the guy, right? Like you got to build around that guy. Because if you don't build around that guy and you just get some hodgepodge and that's around the guy, you end up with Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, who then go other places, have teams built around them, and suddenly they just end up kicking a whole bunch of ass. Top to bottom, left to right, up and down, because I don't know if you know this, but both of the last 2 Carolina Panthers starting quarterbacks pre-BY, they're both in the playoffs. Baker Mayfield's in the playoffs for the 3rd consecutive season. Sam Darnold, who I do think looked like booty cheeks last night, did win 14 games this year. So that's good. That's good, right? Compared to everybody else in the NFL except the Chiefs, who, by the way, when Patrick Mahomes got his shot, stepped in, because you all will remember that the legacy of Patrick Mahomes began when Andy Reid benched a quarterback because the team had already gotten the bye and put in this young cat named Mahomes who went out there and went bananas. And they went, oh, maybe we got a little something here. So what they do? The Chiefs built that team around Patrick Mahomes. And now, and again, I've done the research, the Chiefs are very good at football now because they found their guy, then they built around the guy. So Dave Canales says, oh, we got our guy. And now Bryce Young became the youngest quarterback in NFL history. Excuse me, in No, it was in NFL history. I believe it was NFL history. Youngest cat.
I believe it's Panther history. But
Either way, the youngest in some history, in a history, to throw for 3 and run for 2 in a game. That's pretty solid. The dude is a dude. And by the way, haters, I accept your apology. I accept your apology and acknowledgement of Rob Brown knowing ball. You're welcome. This dude.
Don't take that from him. If you want to acknowledge that he finally found a way to finish, which is what I've been waiting for him to do, then you can talk about that. But don't give credit to Mr. defending him all this time.
Wins and losses on a quarterback
stat.
Wins
Whatever.
and losses
Whatever.
on a quarterback
You know what?
stat.
You can say that all you want, but talk to America and you'll find out the island that you're on.
America wrote
quite a
off
bit
Bryce
lately.
Young, so maybe they are wrong
I don't
sometimes.
know why you're singing.
Because I have a point that I need to emphasize. Hey! Nailed that.
Okay.
Michael Penix Jr. v. Bryce Young is going to be fun for the next couple of years because that dude's kind of a dude, too. Bryce Young was dropping dots yesterday on the ATL.
Finally finished. Pretty proud of the Panthers yesterday, how they played that game. It's a really good game. I've been saying all along that Bryce is improving, and I've really enjoyed his improvement because the Panthers are my favorite NFC team. But I can be critical of things when I see they're critical because I can put my fandom aside. Rob can't when it comes to his baby boy Bryce Young for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the guy? Wait. You mean the guy?
He was able to finish.
That I was right about the whole time? That's the guy? Because I'm just the defender. It couldn't be that I was right again.
Why are you doing the Trump dance?
Wins and loss. No, this is the Trump dance. All right.
You got to get the
They
golf.
made a John
golf
Cena,
swing at the end.
John Cena made a whole scene about it in a movie.
You got to do the golf swing at the end. You forgot to do that. There we go.
Wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat, and I was right about Bryce. Yeah. Rob Brown the musical, starring Bradley Cooper as Rob Brown.
Of course. Well, only because Will Wheaton can't sing. That's probably why.
Will Wheaton. I feel good about it. Bryce Young throwing the dot to Tommy Tremble and turning around and hitting the Steph no-look celly. I was right about Bryce Young. I know ball. Trademarked.
Wow.
Here's the stat.
So excited about an overtime game at
Here's
the
the
last
stat.
game of the season. It's about
Here's the
time they
stat.
won.
Here's that. Wins and losses aren't a quarterback
Yeah,
stat. And I was
dude.
right about Bryce.
Dude, do you realize how annoying that is?
Well, it's annoying when people don't acknowledge that wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Bryce Young becomes the youngest
Tell the world
quarterback in NFL history to have 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 250 yards.
So it was the NFL.
It was
Good for him.
it was the NFL when you add in the 250. Youngest quarterback to go 3-2. Youngest Panther quarterback to go 3-2. Youngest quarterback in NFL history to go 3-2 and 250 through the year. Went 251, 3 passing, 2 rushing. Let's see, and a QBR of an embarrassing 123.5 yards. Wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat, and I was right about Bryce. Yeah.
All right. So I'm not a betting guy, but you think he remembers the tune that he just had by tomorrow?
Doesn't matter. I'll make up a new one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it might be better. We'll find out.
Well,
I'm going to get in the lab tonight.
How could it not be better?
Wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat.
Okay,
and
you gotta
I
go
was
country.
right about Bryce.
Okay, it could be worse. Go back to the other one.
Wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat. And I was right about Bryce. Yeah, wins and losses.
Hey,
aren't a
could you do me a favor? Could you please not fumble that ball? Because it's going to break something.
Much like Bryce.
The more that you
I'm
sling
not
it,
turning this thing
oh
over.
no, you were doing very dangerous things, dude. I'm telling you, we've all seen you drop stuff. Please stop.
It's bigger than a pen. I got this one.
That is, you don't own that laptop. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well. Wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat, and I was right about Bryce. Yeah. I don't know what you were saying. I tried to tell the people. Texas said, no apologies for me. I've always thought BY was going to be the next Drew Brees. He just needs a team around him, and it's coming together. Good call, Joey. No ball, TM. Well done.
Wow. Someone named Joe agreed with you.
It's not that Joe. It's a different
Shocker.
Joe. It's not that
Shocker.
Joe. That Joe's in the chat said, imagine being DJ Moore being traded to a team with the number 1 pick quarterback, then having to build an offense around that quarterback, and you still end up with the same record as the team that traded you. And oh, by the way, BY plus DJ Moore equals a lot of touchdowns. Sucks to be DJ Moore, who end up in a definitely worse spot. If you ever want to know what the concept of perspective is, look at the 5-win season of the Cats and the season of the 5-win Bears. Those fans are looking at 5 wins in very different perspectives.
Yeah, because they realize what a mistake it was to let Justin Fields go. But, But
Justin Fields, who couldn't beat out
Russell
Wilson, huh?
You know who's regretting his mistake right now? That would be one Mike Tomlin. I know. It's not a winning stat, but I mean, winning or losing stat, the quarterback. But that quarterback ain't getting it done. They've lost, 5 straight?
The Steelers are on a 4-game losing streak and are in the playoffs.
And going to lose again in the playoffs.
I mean, probably, but that's because they're going up against the Ravens.
Or because of their quarterback.
Steelers, Texans right now. Who you got?
Steelers don't play the Texans.
I'm hypothetical world. Steelers, Texans play tomorrow. Who you got?
Who's playing quarterback for the Steelers?
Russell Wilson. They're starting quarterback.
Well, then definitely the Texans.
So if I put Justin Fields, you're taking the Steelers.
No, then it would be a coin toss.
I picked a bad team. I picked another Buckeye. I should have picked a not Buckeye team.
You didn't pick a bad team. That team is. You want to pick a bad team? Pick an NFC South team. That's a bad team.
I think the Bucks are getting the floor wiped by the Commanders in Week 1. I really do. I think Tampa Bay is 3.5-point favorites playing at the crib. I'm going Commanders.
So, admittedly, I don't remember what college Jaden Daniels played for. So I don't know how big the stage is for him.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I don't know
the LSU Tigers.
Okay, so again,
where he won a Heisman Trophy, like Rob Brown said he would.
Yeah, so this is the biggest stage that he will be on then in the playoffs. What did LSU do when he was there? He won a Heisman Trophy. That doesn't mean he played in a big game.
Yeah, they lost 3 games that year.
Yeah, so I mean, this will be the biggest. And Baker has played in big games.
But I would say the real stage is the friends we make along the way, like Brian Kelly and the rest of the family. He's part of the family. Texas said, I had to turn you guys off. That singing was too annoying. Wins and losses on a quarterback start.
Listen, you have done
Bryce.
so much.
Hey,
you've done so much better than that. It's a downgrade compared to what you usually do. I'm embarrassed for us.
Give me a song. I'll put it to that tune.
You usually don't need me to give you a song.
I feel like that one was good because it was organic. It came from the soul, and it was correct.
Now we know that Rob really likes show tunes because that's what that is.
Wins and losses are the quarterback stat, and I was right.
Stop doing jazz hands. You're going to drop that ball.
Back after this, wrapping up the Rob Brown Show next on the Fan Upstate.
Stop making us go late. What are you doing?
That way.
Really? Okay. We ain't been on time yet today.
A wizard is never late, nor is he early.
Yeah.
I always arrive precisely when I intend to. Just remember, guys, wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat.
See, James, you act like he don't already have those. Come on. Have you seen that man's wardrobe? Of course he's got a top hat and a cane. See, I'm laughing, but you're probably right. Probably bought it for one event, like I've done lately. Buy something for one event and then never wear it again. I've actually worn a top hat before to an event, but I wonder what a legitimate top hat costs.
Shall we buy Viking drinking horns to utilize during the show?
I already have one.
So yes is my answer.
Medieval Times has them. It don't look like that, but it's a drinking horn, but it says Medieval Times on it. And yes, you buy it with a drink.
This is a legitimate horn, like legitimate antler.
Okay.
What do you call it? An antler? It's not an antler. Is a horn an antler? I feel like it's the same thing, but is it a shape thing?
Depends on where it comes from, supposedly, I guess. Does it come from an elk?
That would be an antler. So is a cow horn an antler and a
Steers? They got horns.
Is it it's got to be shape based, right?
Well, that's already that shape. I don't know. How do you shape a? I don't know.
Well, like antlers, this.
Right.
Wrapping it up, the Rob Brown Show is on the radio. It's the fan upstate. I don't know if that non-head coaching fires are necessarily breaking news. Dong. I said dong on the radio. Bengals fire defense coordinator Lou Anarumo after 6 seasons. Good enough for me.
I gotta say good because
they were embarrassing.
Well, there's that, and also that's another one of Collinsworth's favorite guys. Just like it's like he's so excited that he could say the name right. Every time they play, just say it over and over and over again.
You almost were on my computer right there. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, that would have got me too.
You almost got straight up. That was almost spit take worthy.
Yeah, it just. I mean, I had no idea who that guy was until Lou Anarumo defense.
Nailed it. Absolutely stuck the landing on that one.
Yeah.
Cincinnati moving on from their defensive coordinator, which, because they were not what's what I'm looking here for. Good at all. At all. They were another team that it's like offensively they were putting up enough points to win. Put up 33 on the Commanders. Could have, should have won that. Put up 38 on the Ravens. Probably should have won that one. There were some spots the offense. Lost by 1 to the Ravens in game number 2. Lost by a touchdown to the Chargers, who put up 34 on them. Gave up 44 to the Steelers. 27 to an inept Cowboys offense led by Cooper Rush. 27 they gave up to the Titans. They won that game, but no reason the Titans should have scored that much. That's the right call. All right, couple of things I want to get in here before we ask what the X is going on and get out for the day. Tyreek decided to make it real awkward after he Cam warded the Miami Dolphins and just didn't play in the fourth quarter. Mike McDaniel got asked after the game. They're like, yo, why no Tyreek? And he's like, I don't know. I was told he was unavailable. They didn't tell me anything about an injury or anything. They just told me he was unavailable. Well, Tyreek spoke.
Wait. Who are they?
The globalist. Rabble. Here's Tyreek.
As a captain, what is the message you got to these guys in the offseason? You won't feel this at the end of the season.
I don't even know, bro. This is my first time. I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. So it was great playing here, but at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for for my career and what's best, because I'm too much of a competitor to be just out there.
Mean you thinking about leaving here?
If it is, hey.
My favorite favorite part about that clip, if you haven't seen it, is if he goes, wait a minute, and then he just walks away. He's just like, yeah, I'm out, I'm done. My second favorite thing is that when I got up this AM and I'm looking through the, the recaps and the news and the notes and the highlights and all that, one guy wrote a headline and he's like, speculation about whether or not Tyreek Hill is done with the Miami Dolphins. And I'm like, he literally said, I'm out. It's been great playing here. I'm out. I don't think that's speculation. The first down dogs pod. Here's the thing, real quick, because I've already gotten one person who said, wait, Rob, aren't you always saying that players should have the ability to control their own career? Yes. Yes, I do, and yes, I am. But the first down dogs explain why this is so humorous.
Seen Tyreek Hill stats this season?
Not really. I know he's under 1,000.
More newborn children than he has touchdowns.
Yes! I did know that.
Wait, really?
Yes.
He has 5 newborn children and only 4 touchdowns.
Is that real?
Yes, it is. I read that.
5 in 1 year?
I told my whole family that. I told my kids and everybody.
I mean, me too. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
You didn't tell your whole family.
I didn't tell my kids that.
You didn't tell your kids that.
Told my dog, though.
Did you?
I was like, Remy, listen, this is hilarious. Even you'll appreciate this. Yeah, I got.
Were you holding food when you got the attention?
I'm always holding food.
Okay.
Yeah, I find this humorous. It's not. Listen, if Tyreek wants to leave. That's fine, big dog. But like, maybe don't put it on the organization, my guy. You successfully impregnated more women than you put touchdowns on the board.
All right, I'm extremely confused about something. Okay, he left.
Me too. Most of the time.
He left Kansas City because he didn't want to be second fiddle, and he went to the most accurate quarterback
in the world,
in the history of the NFL,
in the history of the world.
And then he's not catching passes. I don't know what's going on here.
I mean, I got to assume that he's a wonderful father who is staying up all night with all them kids.
So he's
tired.
He's tired.
He's Tyree to Hill. There's got to be it. That's all I got for you. That
was almost as corny as the song.
Yeah, well, what do you want? Everything I do is corny. It's just kind of comes with the
He's
territory.
already forgotten the song. I just wanted to see if he
wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat, and I was right about Bryce. Yeah, wins and losses.
Again, I know what he's doing now.
I won.
He's doing. Thank God I'm a country boy. That's what he's doing.
No, it is not.
That's exactly what you're doing.
It is. You want to toe-to-toe country music with me? I don't think you do. I could be wrong, but I don't think
you guys all heard it, didn't you? And anytime he does it again, you're going to hear it. It's how he's tapping the football.
Wins and losses on a quarterback stat, and I was right about Bryce. Yeah.
Something about a griddle. I don't remember the words.
I didn't get a griddle for Christmas. It's great. It's great. All right. So there's that. Let me get. I got time for one more very quick thing. Then I'll tell you the results of our poll of the day. Joey B sent me a video from not too long ago. I actually think it's over on Instagram, so I'll get over there. But there's a theory floating around right now that I found interesting. I do not subscribe to it, but I'm going to go ahead and play it for you because I think some of you guys will, if I can figure out how to switch. Never mind. I'll have to do it tomorrow because I can't figure out how to switch my profile on Instagram to get to it. I have 2 different ones. I do not use one to tell everybody how amazing of a father I am.
40's just around the corner.
That's a different guy. But the point here is that there's a guy who put out a theory the other day that said that he doesn't think Bill Belichick is going to coach a single game for UNC. He thinks somebody's going to hire him in the NFL. No. Dude literally has already been passed over by at least 3 NFL teams. At least 3 guys had the opportunity to hire Hoodie and said, no, we're good. Bill Belichick is cooked, man. If anybody hires Bill Belichick, you're going to be bad next year. That's just how it's going to go. All right, we asked you guys.
What if the Raiders hire Bill Belichick? Since Tom Brady owns part of the Raiders, and then he turns around and he hires Bill Belichick, that would just like totally mess up all your theories.
No, it wouldn't. What theory would it mess up? Tom Brady won a lot of games for Bill Belichick, whose coaching style works if and only if you have a Brady or a Mahomes or a Jackson or an Allen. It doesn't work for regular dudes. That's just how it goes. This is interesting. We asked the question on the chat, not on the chat, on the text line. We asked the question, are NFL rivalries dead? After tabulating our votes, great one. They break down this way. 25% say yes, NFL rivalries are dead. 25% said no, NFL rivalries are alive and fine. And 50% said there's only one rivalry left. So basically, what this broke down to was a quarter of the vote said no, rivalries are dead. A quarter said alive. And a 50%, half of you said they are alive, which means that, I'm assuming, all of you think that your team has the only remaining real rivalry in the NFL. I love sports fans.
I was going to say, that's how it works.
I love sports fans.
Yeah.
You're all like, all of your rivals stink, but my rivalry is still legitimate. I love it, which is, honestly, if I'd have thought about it for 5 seconds, I probably could have projected and prognosticated that that's the way it was going to break down. But yeah, all of you believe that rivalries are dead, except for your rivalry, which is still alive and doing just fine. That's spectacular.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
That's a little early.
Yeah, I thought you were going to add another point, but then there was.
I didn't need to.
You gave me 3 seconds there. So, all right, let us see what is Xing this wonderful rainy day. Starting with the first one that's non-sports related. Colin Farrell is exit.
Colin Farrell is Xing. I did not watch it, but I assume that the Penguin must have picked up about 1,000 awards at the Golden Globes last night.
I didn't watch it either, but he won Best Actor in a Limited Series,
which is great because he was phenomenal. I'll tell you what, I watched that series, but the wife and I watched it over 2 nights. And here's what I'll say.
Did you watch all the way to the end?
Yes.
Because that last episode was messed up.
Wild, right?
Yes, it was.
It was really good. And I'll say this. I'll tell you why I really liked it. Because it was very much like The Sopranos. Like, they give you a lot to where you kind of almost start to root for the character, and then they completely slap you and remind you, no, he's a giant bad person.
Oh, he's worse than what you ever could fathom.
Yeah,
yes.
like he's a terrible dude. Like they did this. It was, you know what it was? It was DC Sopranos, right? So same thing. Like they spend episodes building you up into where you kind of like Tony Soprano, and then he just murders a dude, and you're like, oh, that's right, he's a horrible person.
Yeah, I was calm.
It was so good.
A man of the people, and you're thinking he's for the people, and all, and then at the end,
nope. Just for him. It was that scene at the park. And if you haven't watched it, watch it. But you know what scene I'm talking about.
That killed us. We're all just like, as soon as he said something, I looked at Cameron's like, no. And then it happened, and it was like, my wife was very angry. And then as Cameron said, what you said, he's a bad guy. These are all bad people.
Yeah. That was the spot that I think everybody, it is important here and there to be able to take a step back and go, oh, that's right, he's a terrible person. I forgot that the entire premise was, here's how the really bad person got to be a really bad person.
Yeah, but for how long? Because, what's shown in Sky at the end of it. But there's supposed to be a part 2. I mean, a second season probably.
Here's hoping, because it's a really good show.
It really is good. All right, the next thing is Xing is Dwayne.
Dwayne is Xing because Netflix will have the debut episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix tonight, and it has been up in the air. But over the weekend, Dwayne put out a personal promo, because Dwayne's into business for himself right now. Dwayne put out a personal promo that ended with the date 1/6 with the Netflix slash in the middle of it. So we are getting Dwayne. The only question mark is, which Dwayne are we going to get? And I am going, let's prognosticate. Why not? I am prognosticating Dwayne cost Roman tribal combat. Solo hangs on to the Ulafala and is the tribal chief. We start the road to Roman versus Dwayne at WrestleMania tonight.
All right, Dwayne has also said in a longer post that he just put out yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
Talking about a bunch of the tribal chief stuff from his
Yep.
grandfather and how he's supposed to
That's
carry
the post that
everything.
ended with the
Yeah.
1-6 with the Netflix
Yeah,
slash.
so yeah, it's gonna happen tonight. All right, the next thing that's Xing is
Baker is back in the playoffs after the Buccaneers have won their 4th consecutive NFC South. They tried their darndest to give it away yesterday. Wouldn't have mattered because Carolina stepped up into the ATL and knocked the Dirty Birds down a notch or 3 because Bryce Young's a dog. Wins and losses on a quarterback stat, and I was right about Bryce. Hey, but Baker gets it done against the New Orleans Saints, and Baker's on his way back, proving once again that it wasn't a quarterback problem. It was a
All right,
franchise problem in Charlotte.
Just because of the song, the last thing that's Xing is Mike Evans.
Thanks for being here, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the first 3 hours and 53 minutes of the show. Y'all have a great day. Don't drink. Oh, be careful on the roads out there. It's gross. It's slick. It's nasty. Be real careful. We got wintry conditions.
Yeah, my back end was loose all morning. So
Lonzo's
you
got a
gotta be
loose
careful.
back end, all right? Stay away from Lonzo's back end. It's real loose today. Y'all have a great rest of your day. I have a really funny story for you tomorrow. That was going to make Lonzo uncomfortable. I forgot to get to it today. We'll get to it tomorrow. Have a great day. Don't drink a job. I'll punch you in the face. See you back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate later.
Light his ass up.
Got him.
There's the combination we didn't know we needed.
Yeah, Rock can't believe they weren't going to revolve the DC Universe around Black Adam, too. So for the record, I kind of want to see Red One. I've kind of heard it's pretty good.
It's excellent.
Yeah, I've
You
kinda heard
should watch it. Yeah, that's a very good movie.
Everything else Dwayne's doing is tanking, but the Chris Evans effect is real.
Well, yeah, I mean, he does make Chris Evans makes a movie, but still.
No J. Jonah James.
All right.
J. Jonah James.
Oh, well, yeah, he does too.
Jack Santa.
But also Krampus. You saw it on the trailer, so I'm not spoiling. Krampus is great.
There's only been one A+ Krampus this holiday.
Although an excellent Krampus you were.
I know.
The Krampus in this movie. Have you seen the Feed Your Lawn, Feed It?
Yeah.
He's Krampus.
Okay.
That guy.
He was in Game of Thrones too. He was a wilding war leader in Game of Thrones, and he was fantastic. He was in love with Brienne of Tarth, and it's one of the greatest television romances of all time because he just obsesses over her. Where's the big woman? Like, I get it, buddy. I really do. All right, broskies and broettes. Thank you all for being here. You're all spectacular people. We appreciate it. Let's see. Way to play that out, Lonzo. I love you throwing shade to Rob Saints. You can't throw more shade at the Saints than I have, Zach. That's just my team's booty cheeks. It is what it is. I'm not even sure Batman's a good guy in that series. How? Wait, what? How? What? Huh?
He was a detective through the whole thing, and then at the end, he saved a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm also an idiot. So make your argument. All right. Don't make it right now, though. Make it tomorrow because I got to go. Thanks for being here. You're all spectacular people. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Tell your friends about us. We're trying to get rich and famous. Goodbye.